Energylandia, Energylandia. I thought I was just going to do it, mate. There we go. How are you all doing, everyone? Welcome to the Chain Dogs Energylandia Special. This is going to be a normal podcast episode. We're going to do some news and then go into it. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us on a Thursday rather than our normal Wednesday. And just and again to say that if you're listening to this on podcast, come and join in. Normally every Wednesday at 8 p.m. live on the Chain Dogs YouTube channel. So yeah, come and get involved in the chat. Let's just see who
love us changing schedules and shit.
I know, man. So yeah, hello Carl, how we doing? Luke, yeah. So just to say as well, I did say on Twitter, but Luke and James are feeling like pretty under the weather at the minute. Like both of them are just like feeling pretty bad. Yeah. So that's why it's just me and McCall tonight, which is a shame. But yeah, hoping they feel better soon. And like Luke's just said, with his fancy new logo, which is looking pretty cool. He's got some merch going as well, so check that out. But yeah, like I said, he's here in spirit. So yeah, there we go. We got Lloyd in the chat. We got Joe. We got Jesse. How we doing, Jesse? We got Matt. Jesse. We got Emma. How we doing? So yeah.
Hi, Mrs. Joe Dyer.
Oh yeah, sorry, I keep saying like hi Joe. Joe, who's downstairs. How you doing anyway, McCall? You good, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I can't complain.
That's good.
Yeah. What about yourself? How are you feeling?
I'm tired, mate. Like we got back from Poland at 3 a.m.
I was going to say you won't have recovered yet.
Yeah, got back at 3 a.m. this morning. And then had to go into the office like first thing today. So yeah, knackered. But yeah, it's been great. But we'll get into
worth
that.
It though. Right.
So worth it. It's so worth it. But yeah, we're going to get onto the main topic of Energylandia, and it's going to basically be because obviously McCall's been before and now I've been. We can have actually a proper conversation about the park as a whole, and also if people have questions and stuff about how the park works and things like that, because there are certain things in Energylandia that they do it differently to a lot of other theme parks, I noticed. So be interesting to go into that. We're also going to be talking about Flamingo Land testing their coaster. We got Marvel Avengers Campus announcing their opening day of Marvel Avengers Campus opening day at Walt Disney Studios, I think Disneyland Paris. We got Kathmandu theme park that's opening in Dominican Republic. New attraction. No, not that one. Wolverine. What? We got some news on GCI Titan as well, if you remember that stuff. So we'll talk about it in a bit anyway.
We'll get into it if you don't.
We'll get into that. But yeah, so
before we get started, you should probably take a look at who's in the chat show, and I think someone you might be familiar with that's shown up.
Oh, Hiker, how are you doing? How are we doing? Is that you meant, McCall?
Yeah.
So guys, I can't believe Hiker's here. That's so cool. So Hiker, I'm getting that pronunciation right now, aren't I?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Not you. I'm asking Hiker. But yeah, Hiker she's a ride up at Plopsaland, and she operates the Ride to Happiness. And we met her out there, and she come to Wallaby Belgium with us, which is really, really cool. I mean, imagine that. Imagine that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's really nice of you. Yeah, so first of all, let's talk about this Flamingo Land situation, man. Because this was, I saw this in the airport when I was waiting for my plane, and it just popped up. Well, no, Luke put it in the chat, didn't he?
Yeah.
So obviously,
I had just got back. So I'd gone out for a walk, and I just got back and seen that Luke had put it in our Chain Dogs chat, and I just looked at the link without really reading what had been said. So I was just like, oh, it's the first test of Flamingo on New Coast. So let me check it out.
Just for some backstory, just in case like people who are not that aware, Flamingo Land have for like the past 10 years? No, it's not been 10 years. It's been like but they've been
feels like it.
Yeah, they've been building this Intamin 10 inversion coaster, which is a near clone to Colossus.
It's a revision B model.
Yeah,
so it's the same as it's the same as Altair at Cinecittà World in just outside Rome in Italy.
Yes. But yeah, carry on. You can carry on now. I just need to plug in my light.
Okay. Oh yeah. So so I just started watching the video as just like I had no idea what was about to happen, and I just watched it just expecting a POV, and not a POV. What am I talking about? Just
testing footage,
just testing footage. And then I see the water dummies start flailing about and falling out of the trainer ship, and I'm like, what? Huh? Is this a fake video? So, like, oh what? So then I just start reading through the chat, and just yeah. Flamingo Land. I mean, like where else will something like this happen?
I'll tell you what, I'll pull up because YouTube hates StreamYard, so I'm gonna just play it from.
YouTube's got beef with StreamYard. I don't know why.
Yeah. I know Digital Dan put it up, but just a shout out also to the person who Go Theme Parks who uploaded that, because people are repping his video and like not like crediting him, which I don't think he's not said he doesn't mind or anything, but just thought shout him out. But yeah,
for sure.
Where is it?
YouTube channel.
But yeah, he's struck gold with filming this. Jesus, imagine when he got that, he was like, "This is going to be the one."
I'm about to go viral. I mean, to be fair, I mean, the video has pretty much gone viral. Well, there's like 50,000 views on it now.
For those not aware, and especially the listeners of the podcast, what happened was they were testing it, and a load of water dummies fell out and was just like getting flung around, basically. So here we go. That's the first one gone.
Funny as hell.
Water dummy. There you go.
And then go the rest of them. More water dummies.
It's insane. But
it's fucking funny.
It's just so funny. The amount of time I was just in the airport, just laughing so much at it. And obviously, I'm coming back from Energylandia, right? Well, I'm in Krakow's airport, and we're lining up to go in. And obviously, you're going back there. There's going to be a few enthusiasts in the queue, like people I didn't actually know, but like there's obviously enthusiasts that were like in like icon hoodies and stuff. I've just seen loads of people just watching the same video like in the queue. It's just so funny, like getting onto the airplane. God,
being able to see that they're laughing at the exact same thing, that must have been.
But if you're listening to this, then go check it out. It's on Go Theme Parks. It's just insane. But yeah, so like what a lot of people were saying was they've basically just used the wrong water dummies, because these are lap bars. They need to have like actual full-on legs, I guess. Full legs, because obviously it's just going to slip out. But it almost seems like they knew this because they're all strapped on. I don't know if that's like.
And they're all strapped around the torso as well. Like, I mean, you can see it, My thing is like, so if like you can, there are certain points in the video where you can make out SNS logos on the water dummies. So I mean, Flamingo Land does have an SNS space shot, shot and drop tower. So
yeah.
I can only think that they've been kept. Like they're the only water dummies that they have around, but it's kind of just like, and I said this in the chat. It's like, admittedly, I'll be fully transparent on this. I didn't actually know that there were different kinds of water dummies to be used on
nor me.
on looping coasters with different restraints,
Mm.
which, you know, hindsight is 2020. Of course there is.
Of course, yeah.
Of course there is. But I didn't know. But if you're,
but is it just me, or but these look like really like kind of like soft material rather than your typical like hard water dummies?
Yeah, like hard plastic ones,
hard plastic,
or whatever material is usually used for them. But it's just like, if you're if you're in charge of testing, not even just this road, just any coaster, any attraction, how do you get this wrong? Like, how do you mistake
my
the type of testing hardware that's needed?
My only thoughts on this was that they're like, they knew they were the wrong water dummies, but they needed the weight to just start testing it, maybe. So they were just like, well, let's just see how this goes. Like that's the only thing I can think of, was that they could fully well know and be like, well, we've got some old water dummies that we never use. Let's just see how that goes. They'll probably fall off, but you know, they could be saying that could be a thing.
And I mean, like, that doesn't sound far fetched.
And also like, what this, I was surprised that if Intamin were there, would Intamin be doing this? I don't think they would be. And then I'm thinking
that's another thing as well. Yeah, like, would they have would they have, you know, quote unquote, whether they did this literally or, you know, just figuratively, signed off on this course of action being taken?
Because the way I understand when I've been involved in attraction openings from like my standpoint, which is like, you know, doing videos and stuff, when you go into like a work site and stuff, the construction company who are constructing it, or the ride manufacturer it, they actually, it's under their control, not the park's control.
Right.
So I can't say the specific example recently, but you know, until it's all signed off and tested and like they're happy with it, they will then sign it over to the park, and it's the park's responsibility. But normally the manufacturer of the ride in question are responsible for it until it gets to that point. So I don't know how it's worked with this, because but I don't know if this is a bit different because it's like it's an older coaster that's been like, you know, passed around, and maybe Intamin are like not having that, you know, they would have had the hand in the construction of it. But you know how these things work, everything's like subcontracted anyway, isn't it? But I don't know. It just raised a lot of questions for me. But what's made me laugh is how you know, I didn't know that there's different water dummies. You didn't know that, but apparently the whole of Twitter knew that. I just love it when people pretend like they know. Like,
I mean, Twitter knows everything, don't they? So, like,
I'm like, I didn't
the internet is definitely omnipotent. So, like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely funny. But yeah, we got Craig Toy in the chat. We've got Owen.
Owen Evans said something golden. Yeah.
From Yorkshire, they must have called up on the traditional Yorkshire mantra of be right. Be right. Yeah, exactly. But this could be like amazing. This could be amazing marketing for him. It could have actually been. I mean, if it was any other park, I'd probably say yes. But we know that Flamingo Land haven't been great with marketing and communication in the past, so I doubt.
Well, it's just like this video has gone viral. Like, it's you know, nearly 60,000 views. It's been shared a bunch of times on Facebook, which means a lot of general public will have seen it. And it's just like, I just think, you know, a lot of the general public still react a bit apprehensively towards looping coasters that go upside down with just lap bars. We saw it with Velocicoaster. The amount of people who were like, why is there only a lap bar if it goes upside down? Like, this is going to be the exact same situation. And
it's literally like with Mac, who are like they've offered to all their pre-existing coasters around the world. They've offered everyone like free seatbelt upgrades. Like they've just done that free for everyone, and a lot of parks have done it because parks know that even just with a seatbelt, not even without like a harness or comfort collar or something like that, like just with that added belt, it makes people feel safer and it ups the ridership of rides. So yeah, and like you say, I mean, you're gonna say that like this might put people off.
Yeah, I mean, like yeah, like there is the actual physical like safety of guests on these rides, which is obviously ensured in the design. But then there's also the psychological and mental safety of perception of safety.
Because as enthusiasts, we know that this does not mean that the coaster is unsafe at all. It's not. We all know that. It made me laugh. People going, "It's still safe." I'm like, yes, we know it's safe. It's just funny as hell. Like,
yeah, exactly. No one was questioning the integrity of the ride. It's just funny.
It's hilarious. So, but yeah, like, our video's going out. Rob's just said it that found out the exact same thing happened on Colossus test runs as well.
Yeah, it did. I saw that as well.
Yeah, so on there was obviously sand, weren't they, back then?
Yeah.
They were sand. But yeah, that happened. But it's just the type of coaster it is, isn't it? It's like the fact that it can go, it's got a lot of ejector on it. It goes through them hotline rolls quite slowly. Slower than the rest of it anyway. It's gonna kind of happen. But yeah, it's interesting. It's funny. But anyway,
what I find funny is that aside from the obvious comedy of this video, I see no one acknowledging that was a damn good first run.
I said that. I was like, yeah, this is really funny, but look at the speed of that thing.
Yeah, like, it flies through that layout. Like, it's taking all of the inversions a lot quicker than seemingly a lot quicker than Colossus does or did on its like few test runs and stuff. It's going through the heartline rolls with a lot of speed. It carries its pace really well, and it's quiet as fuck as well. Like it looked like the way the train was moving on the track, it looked really smooth, and like I said, it was quiet as hell. But no one cares about all that because a water dummy flew out and splattered on the floor. Did you see the explosion as well on the ground?
Actual explosion. We got Coasterbot saying, "Was it a first run?" Winky face. It probably wasn't. To be fair, I mean, most of the time. I mean, most of the time, first runs happen at night, don't they? And I mean, I haven't been seeing any like pull through off this coaster either, and that's normally like a big thing that Intamin do, isn't it?
Like, I know they did. I know they were at the very least in the middle of one right before everything shut down for the pandemic.
Right.
But like I remember seeing a pull through with two cars, on the track. Whether or not they actually completed it, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
So I know they were at the very least in the middle of one before everything shut down.
I'm excited, though. I'm excited for this to open up. Any coast in the UK is always good, and I could keep saying I'm a big fan of Colossus. Anyway, I don't find it that rough. I know loads of people disagree, but I quite like it. But this one looks like it's going to be even better. So yeah, looking forward to that. Let's just see if we're Swarm. Oh yeah. So people kept saying about if this was Merlin, you remember that it was Swarm, wasn't it, where they had the test dummies without the arms on? Do you remember that?
I don't.
They released an image of or to the press.
Oh my god! Yeah. Arms off. I remember that now.
And they built that into their marketing. because like that was just the most hilarious thing anyway.
Oh, that yeah.
So they're just like mannequins anyway. Like they're not even actual things.
Yes.
Let me just pull this up. For those who didn't know about this. But yeah, like
it would be Merlin to use that the way they did as well.
I think this sort of stuff is I think it's ingenious though, personally. Like it gets people, like this just shows you like how much traction this coaster's got now. There'll be people not even realizing there's a that's happening at the minute, the coaster. But yeah, this is the image of the swarm what they swear they shared. Just saying that it's so intense that they hit there. It's just funny because they've got like obviously they've got all these mannequins in the front row, and the rest are just like the normal water. You see, it's hilarious. But yeah, anyway, so next up in the news, we have Marvel Avengers Campus to open at Walt Disney Studios in Disneyland Paris on July the 20th. And I couldn't be less excited about this news, to be honest.
Could not be more indifferent about it.
Like, I enjoy the Marvel films. I do like them. But after seeing what they did at California Adventures, I've not been there myself, so I do normally like to reserve like criticism until I've actually been somewhere, because things always do tend to look better in person anyway. But honestly, the amount of vlogs I've seen around that place, it just looks like we've said it a million times in this podcast, but it just looks so uninspired to me.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to continue. Okay. Like, yeah, I mean, to be like, I'm like I said, I am feeling very indifferent to everything that I've seen of both Avengers campuses at the moment. I'm not necessarily thinking that it looks like bad or like low effort or like low amount of care put into it or anything, but it's not blowing my mind, anything that I've seen. Like I'm just kind of like cool in a Marvel / Avengers area, and that's not a good thing. Like I mean, I'm not out here about to say like I'm the biggest MCU movies fan or anything like that, or like Marvel Comics fan. Like, but I'm a fan of the movies, and you want fans of the movies to be excited about what they're seeing of these areas before going out and experiencing them.
And obviously kids as well, because you gotta remember, like Disney is predominantly for kids as well. Like,
of course,
obviously, that's the great thing about Disney, is that it's for the whole family, so it gets across all age ranges.
Yeah, like it, and I mean, if you ask me about what I've seen so far, like what I've seen of the one in California Adventure, like it does kind of just have a bit of a, I don't want to say basic, because basic has such like sort of insulting connotations to it, but like it does kind of just, I feel like Universal would have done a better job with.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I definitely think they can. Well, they would, but
I'm gonna get onto Flight Force in a second.
Look at. I mean, for example, look at Galaxy's Edge. It's absolutely stunning. Like, it feels like you're in a world. I think that the mistake they made with Avengers Campus is just choosing a world that's on Earth. Like the Avengers Campus is on Earth. Because to me, it just looks like a college campus. Like all the buildings to me just look very like, I don't know, it just doesn't look great in my opinion. I mean, if we look at we go to this, it's not like it's been like it's done on the cheap or anything like that. It's just like, I mean, the best thing about that obviously is I mean, I can't remember what it's called now. What is it? The
Mission Breakout, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Mission Breakout, which obviously used to be Hollywood Tower Terror. That's really nice. It's a stunning facade. I really enjoy that. But the rest of it just kind of looks like meh. Like, it just looks so, like I say, uninspiring.
Yeah, and it's like
all the
that's
photos are taken at night, so it's all lit up, looks really nice. That does look nice, but like, there's a reason they're only taking photos of it at night. Because in reality, that just looks like a bit bland.
Well, it's just like I can't remember if it was a point one of us made on here or if I heard it on another podcast, but like just the fact that it's called Avengers Campus, and like you said, it looks like a college campus, and it's supposed to look like something that is actually realistic and could actually exist in the real world, and that's cool. Like I like that, but I remember a point being made of, do we go to, and especially with Disney parks as well, do we go to theme parks to experience things that we perceive to be able to experience in the real world? Not really. You know what I mean?
That could literally be a local library. Do you know what I mean? You know, when when you see these like gyms, like active living centers that pop up all the time, and they're just like cookie cutter.
Cookie cutter. Yeah. I know.
Like designs, and they all look the same. Like, that's just what it looks like to me. And yeah, I just think Disney can do better. And I just think with the Marvel universe, they could have chose like a way better place to set this in rather than Avengers Campus. Personally,
I think it is kind of like, I think a different, not necessarily that they could do better, but a different approach. Like you said, like in a different location would have been more effective, maybe.
Yeah.
In terms of like how creative the worlds get in the MCU movies. Being able to recreate something like that within the scope of, keeping that escapism of being at a Disney park alive, and keeping the energy there. Doing it somewhere else would have been more effective.
Yeah, Kosa Jen said, if you think about it, they got the theming right, and it looks like the film. However, it's just bland theme from boring parts of the film.
That's pretty much what we've been saying.
I just think you up.
I was just gonna say, from a like sort of visually speaking, from a techie nerdy kind of standpoint, the facade for Avengers Flight Force, we'll get onto that name in a sec, looks really cool. I think like I just think that looks cool, like, and it'll be cool to see what everything that graphic on the side of the facade will look like in real
everything
life.
Looks great in concept art, mate. Everything looks great.
That is also true. That's also true. In perfect lighting at sunset.
Literally just like the perfect time of day. So that's it. But yeah, like, as you can see, it's like sunset, it's all lit up. It's not going to look like that in daylight. It's going to look like it's going to look like Central Station in Birmingham. If you go there, the train station, that literally looks like that.
Or the bull ring.
Yeah, the bull ring. Like, you know what I mean? Cool. Look at it. It looks funny. Like a flip. That looks like an IMAX cinema.
Yeah.
That don't excite me at all. I don't know. I might just be a hater, but I just think that, like, they can do better, and I think they've proved it with like with most of their parks. They've proved it. Tokyo Disney Sea, everything, and I just think it's just like a big. It's a quick cash grab. So, but I hope people who are excited for it do enjoy it. I do genuinely hope that.
And just to our point earlier, Claire's in the chat. Hi, Claire. With Razzmatazz. She made a good point of like the Doctor Strange area, like section of the area looks really good, but yeah, the rest of it looks great. But like, because like that Doctor Strange section, I can't remember if it actually, I can't actually remember if it has a specific name, but like that area looks really naturalistic in comparison. Yeah, and like it looks like in stark contrast to the rest of it. So,
by the way, Craig, Grand Central is nice, but not in a Disney park. That's the difference. It is nice. It is nice, but I don't want to see it in a theme park. Thanks. But anyway, enough of that. We've got a lot to get on with. So Kathmandu, this new theme park that's been announced in the Dominican Republic. So you
Right.
can lead with it.
So, yeah. Just bear with us. I'm trying to get the tweet up. Yeah. So I thought I'd throw this in the chat because I just stumbled across it on Twitter and I thought it sounded interesting. Reported by IAPA's official Twitter. A new theme park called Kathmandu Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic will open later this year. It's an investment of $120 million, or valued at $120 million. And oh yeah, there's the article. And it's being built by Melia Hotels International and Falcons Beyond Global, as reported on the Caribbean Journal. And I threw this in the chat for a couple of reasons. One being, I am not like I don't think there are many, like notable theme park or leisure attractions of this manner in the Caribbean,
No,
among
no.
the Caribbean islands.
Yeah,
And being from the Caribbean islands myself, I find that really interesting that that this is being reported on. And from the looks of this concept art, and I mean, like you said, everything looks better in concept art, but it just looks really interesting. It looks like it could be that, they might have ideas of it being very rooted within the cultural and traditional aesthetic of the Dominican Republic, in the style of architecture that they're using. And then, like, I don't know about you, but the upside down sort of what looks like maybe like a temple roof, and then an upside down sign on top of it, that's just really intriguing to me. That always sort of strikes questions in my mind of, what kind of like thematic ideas and concepts could they be going with for their attractions?
Or how many beers? Or how many beers
are they? Or how many beers do they want you to have before that looks right side up to you?
So this is there is already a Kathmandu park in Mallorca, which we was just checking out. So this is like, an expansion on that. So we can already see kind of like what there is to be expected from this, which seems to be like a lot of like 4D experiences. They've got like their own version of this upside down type of house called the house, which is like upside down. And like adventure golf, kind of like the starting of a park in a way. Like you've got to start with these experiences and then build upon that, because if you do what Tato Park did, where they had all these little rides, there's a really good article I read recently with the marketing, I can't remember his name now, but a marketing person from Tato, and they were saying how when they built their their GG coaster, I can never pronounce it. You can say it, can't you, McCall? Cucacolin.
Oh, I mean,
yeah,
Cuculain.
They said that when they built that, they were not prepared for like how much that would make people visit the park. So when people got there wasn't really like enough for that target demographic to do, which is why they're now building these two. Well, they've just built is it a boomerang they've just built? The dinosaur one, I think it is. And then, but they're building an STC soon.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you've got to kind of so you've got to kind of like start with these attractions and then build upwards, really, rather than just going full on into it. So
sure, yeah.
Interesting though. Cool.
Smart way to do it.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I just thought it was cool. Owen Evans in the chat said, funny that it's in the Dominican Republic, but they've named it after this capital city of Nepal. Are they going for a Himalayan theme? That's interesting in itself. Like, because you see hints of that stylistically in the concept art again. So this is what I mean. Like how, like what kind of things are they gonna, or like what kind of thematic ideas, like I said, are they gonna include in this? It did say in the article that that it will include like as sort of like the base of where they want to start. It will include attractions, rides, shops, entertainment, and focus on gastronomy. So it looks like they're wanting to, be solid in all encompassing areas first and have a solid base of things to offer.
Cool.
But yeah.
Right, let's move on. Let's move on. So next up is so in 2019, GCI announced their hybrid version. It's kind of to compete with GCI's iBox track, and they named it a Titan. It was called Titan Track, basically. And that happened in 2019. Obviously, COVID happened, and now we've finally been seeing like it happen. A lot of people was wondering why nothing was happening, but Wolverine Wildcat at Michigan's Adventure has had its first drop actually
completely retract
with this Titan track. If we can just pull the photo up. But this is really interesting. It's good. It's interesting to see like a competitor to them, really. I mean, you could argue Gravity Group are pretty much competitor in terms of they've been doing hybrid for a little while as well now.
But they have their own version of it.
They do
as well.
But yeah, as you can see here, they've completely redone the first drop, reporting saying it's really, really good, really, really smooth, which you'd expect. But you were talking about how it's a bit different because there's no welds in it at all, is there?
Yeah. So I think I think what GCI were trying to do with its marketing, and anyone who's listening who's knowledgeable on this, correct me on anything that I might get wrong on it. But I think what GCI were trying to sort of make an attractive draw for parks was that the fact that the track design has no welds and it's all rivets with how it's put together. I think they've been looking just for a more cost-effective method of being able to deliver this retracking option for old wooden coasters, and maybe like just to aid cost effectiveness and ease of installation in that sense. But it's interesting because of the fact that they introduced it at IAAPA in 2019, and they did have a section of it on White Lightning at Fun Sport Orlando. Whether or not that section is still there, I'm not entirely sure, because as far as I'm aware, it might still be there. As far as I'm aware, I think the intention of that piece was to kind of just be, the first
like a tester. Tester to see how it get on. Yeah.
To see how it would do. Now we're starting to, and now only three. Like, did it just need more refining after that? And more reworking over the last 3 years, and obviously COVID has been
I was going to say
as well.
I think it's just COVID. Like, there's not going to be many parks going ahead with a lot of projects when all that was happening. So I think it's probably was just on the back burner when it's probably, compared to some of the coasters that were like halfway being built or like just had like foundations put in, they're going to carry on with it because they spent the money. But if it's an existing wooden coaster that's still running, not great, but it's still running, they're not going to suddenly like spend the money until they need to, are they really?
Yeah,
I think that's it really. And then most theme parks last year probably had the best attendance they've had in absolute years because everyone was like staying local and stuff. So I think it's enabled some of the parks to spend a bit more money on doing things like this.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I think you're probably right there.
I've just got to quickly go nip to the toilet. So, McCall, you go.
Right,
Can you
okay.
read some comments out, mate?
Yeah, can do. Right. So yeah, just like with this, like I kind of just think that, well, it's gonna be interesting to see how it does in the long term with Wolverine Wildcat, and then also Predator at Six Flags Darien Lake, that is, if I remember correctly, going to be opening this weekend over at Six Flags Darien Lake in New York. And just to see how well these two coasters perform, and any others in the future that GCI want to do some or parks want GCI to do some retracking on, because there have been a lot of questions about whether or not it will become, like a viable alternative option to RMC's methods of retracking, including the iBox, and then also their 208 retracking that they introduced on one of their wooden coasters at Silverwood in Idaho. That will remain to be seen until we see some more more evidence of it working out for parks and being a good investment. But yeah, what are people saying in the chat? I just pulled something totally out of my ass.
Jack said chain dog because it was just one of his.
Just one. Everyone's like the McCall show, McCall in charge.
I've been told to look at wait for Sean to mispronounce. What did I say? Cookie Colin. Okay, yeah, they're just taking a piss out of my on the group chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, so McCall's got some big plans coming that he needs to announce to everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So we're off this. All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So a few of you already know about this. But it's
McCall's pregnant.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure I knew who was the mother first before announcing it. But yeah, a few people already know about this, just because like I've had to be sort of cagey about making plans and stuff, and explain to people why I won't be here for like after a while. But it is, I suppose it's come to the time where I have to let you guys know why I won't be on the show for a few weeks for a while. I am moving. I'm moving out of the country very soon. Me and a friend of mine from someone I met at university, we've been talking about doing this since before the pandemic, and we have been planning, and we've both been applying for different kinds of visas, like one. Like,
wait, have you said where you're going?
No, I'm getting to it.
It's so much suspense, bro.
Let me set it up, damn it. Yeah, like we've been planning it for a while, and like we've both got visas approved now. He's already over there, but I'm gonna be moving over to Vancouver in Canada sometime in June. I didn't want to say it like right away when my visa got approved, because it was kind of just like I had no idea when I was going.
Yeah, it's like up in the air, weren't it?
Yeah, and I mean, it's been up in the air, and parts of it still are up in the air, really. But it's coming closer and closer to, we have a much clearer idea. It's all been about timing, but we have like a clearer idea of when we can get me over there. And at the moment, I'm looking at mid June at the earliest, but it's looking like mid June is probably going to be, you know, like a realistic time frame of when we can make it happen. In any case, just sometime in June. But it does mean that I'm not going to be, as I move my stuff, as I move my life over there and get set up in Vancouver and, you know, get my bearings and everything, I'm not going to be on the podcast for a while, because yeah, like I'm not going to have the time. I'm going to need a chance to set up my, you know, my computer and everything, and just get my setup ready over there.
We're looking for McCall's replacement. So if you email us, we'll
we'll get some business cards out.
Yeah, so it's gonna be I mean, I'm gutted that we're not gonna be able to go to like parks and stuff anymore, but obviously we'll have to arrange something. But
it's just like it's funny how I haven't had like really good theme park friends for the vast majority of my life, and only right when I start to make some really good theme park friends over here, the time comes that, because admittedly I've wanted to move over to somewhere in North America for I don't know how long now. It's always been a thing that I've wanted to do. But only now that I've got like, you know, some really good theme park friends over here, does the time come that it's time for it to happen. It's the best chance for me to make it happen. So that's
Owen said
that time.
But Owen said Vancouver is cool, not much in the way of theme parks in the area though. How will you manage?
Oh, dude, like it's I'm gonna have to do something. But I mean, if Alison's still listening, like she knows we've got a lot of plans for the rest of this year.
I think the point's more like you're on the right continent, really.
Yeah,
it's just a bit easier to like travel to the places that you want to get around and stuff like that, really, isn't it?
Sure, yeah. Like it's a little bit more affordable to get down to you know, like the West Coast of the United States, get back to like the Southern California parks, the North California parks. It's more affordable to get down to Florida and get over to Virginia to visit friends and stuff. You know, get to parks that I've wanted to go back to and stuff. But yeah, I mean, like there's PNE Playland in Vancouver that has a wooden coaster called Coaster, but it has buzz bars. So like I that will be the first time I've apart from Phoenix at Canovis. I can't actually remember if Phoenix still has buzz bars, but you know, a chance to get on some get on a wooden coaster with buzz bars.
Nice.
But yeah.
So like if you tune in and McCall's not here, don't be scared. McCall is coming back. It's just that.
Yeah, just to make it clear, I will be back. Like I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting Chain Dogs.
And you've still got a couple more episodes to go before that happens potentially.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely have one last episode before you go, where it's like a bit of a special. Might even get James to do a quiz again. Everyone loves a coaster quiz, right? But no, congrats. I'm really happy for you, mate. I mean, I've known this for absolutely ages, so
yeah.
I know when you're first planning it, so it's not like a surprise to me. But I'm just happy you get to finally go and you've got like a rough idea. So yeah man, big things.
Like 3 years in the making, and we're finally able to make it happen. It's
so
very happy.
Energylandia. So yeah, the main topic is Energylandia. So as you know, me and Joe recently been to Energylandia for like 3 days. We actually got there on the Monday at around about 1ish. We landed in the park. We flew to Krakow or Krakow, depending on if you want the proper pronunciation. Krakow. And then we got an Uber from Krakow, which is basically a 45 to 50-minute journey, but the Uber costs us 25 quid because everything is just so cheap in Poland.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we did that. We landed at about about 1 o'clock, but didn't really get started properly because we had to sort out our luggage. The great thing I love about Energylandia, and it's going to be in our vlog, is the fact that they have places to store your luggage like outside of the actual turnstiles, and so much like room, and it's like a quid or something to store your luggage. I think it's like £1 or £2 or something. But then
I think there's something around about that.
Because the only thing you can get is a wristband, so you pay like I think it's £2, and then but that's a transferable locker, isn't it? So everywhere you go around the park, it's like you just scan it, put your stuff in, scan it again, open it, and then take it to another place. But we'll probably get onto the details of that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's there on the Monday from like started riding coasters about 2ish till 6 p.m. and then all day Tuesday, and then pretty much all day until 5 o'clock on the Wednesday, and then we went to the airport. But yeah, what a park, man. I was like so much like I knew I was good. I knew there was going to be coasters there that I loved, but like the park itself, like it really like I didn't know what I kind of had an expectation in my head, because I know that there's just like a lot of filler coasters and stuff and like stuff, and there's like duplicates. They've got like 2 boomerangs and they're making one. They're constructing another one at the minute.
27 Vekoma junior coasters.
Yeah, there's a lot of Vekomas. But yeah, it's just that the general vibe of the park is so good. And I think what me and Joe said was, I mean, don't go there like expecting like Phantasialand, or you know what I mean, like like Universal or something like that. But it's a good. I said it's a good session park.
It's a good feel good park.
It's a session park, like a sesh park. Like if you go with a group, it's a good place for a big group of people to go. And even if you're going in a couple, it's like really, really fun as well. But there's just like I
love that you put it that way, because like I wonder what's happening in July.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big group trip there, isn't there? But it's just it's awesome. It's really, really good. I was going to say some of the stuff that just from a park perspective that really surprised me was just like how good the food is there, and like the amount of different options as well for food and drinks. You can get like a mojitos and like all sorts of stuff. Like oh man, it's so good. They know exactly what they're going for. But it's the best way I could describe that park is like when you start playing Planet Coaster, and it's like you've got this front side of the park that is just like full chock-a-block of like kiddie rides. The path, mate, how many times did you get lost in that front side of the park? I don't know, you might be with a big group, but when it was me and Joe,
I mean,
it's so flipping confusing, because
so
it's like
we were with some people know him on Twitter, James Larson, who
James
like jokes. It's not a joke, but he jokes about it being his home park because he goes every fucking year.
Mate, he's like Mr. Energylandia.
Yeah, we call it Larsenlandia to him. Because he's there all the time. So like he basically he knows where everything is. So like it was pretty hard to get lost just sticking by him. And like when we were cred running the place, like he knew how to get to every coaster that we needed. So like it was like it was basically like having our own tour guide there with us.
From like a newbie perspective of me and Joe going there, when you enter the park, apart from Hyperion, it's pretty obvious where that is because it's like in the car park, so you know exactly where to go for that. But everything else, I mean, you can see Zadra in the background, but it's literally like so far away. But when you first, it's big. Absolutely huge. That park, it's like it puts towers to shame, man. Like that trek up to Abyssus is like something else.
Yeah.
But when you're in the front half of that park, there's no like main path. it's just loads of little paths that
Yeah.
lead like different areas, and there's not like one path that you. I
Uh-huh.
think there is. We found one path, but it's like it almost doesn't even look like a path. It looks like a little alleyway to get.
It doesn't look too deep. I think I know.
Yeah,
I think I know the one that
yeah,
you're on about. It goes back right
yeah,
by Energys, one of the
yeah, yeah,
73 Vekoma Junior
yeah,
coasters.
yeah.
But like it's just a bit wider than the rest of the other paths.
Yeah, it's
That's how
a
you
little
discern
bit
it
wider,
from being different
but
to all the other
this
paths. But
is
yeah, like that whole front section of the park is like it's like a labyrinth. Like like
it
if
is, and there's no like weenie. If you don't know what a weenie is, it's like
yeah,
you
that's
think
not.
of like the Disney castles. You can always normally see them from everywhere in the park, so you can get like an orientation. When you're like in the middle of like all these kiddie areas, your only kind of port of call is like looking where Hyperion is, and then looking where the booster is. You're like, okay, right, we need to head there. Like, honestly, the few times me and Joe were walking around, like, where the hell are we? And then we found our way. But it's yeah, it's just a strange one. But yeah, so when you start getting to like formula, which formula, by the way, is that like blew me away. That's way better than I thought it was going to be. Like, and what did you think of formula?
I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
There was some times where I think that there were some rides on it that I had that I enjoyed more than Abyssus. Like
yeah,
it felt like it was running better, like
mm,
a bit more effectively than Abyssus at times. But yeah,
yeah.
it's a good, solid, fun little launch coaster, and
I wish it was.
it has its place in
Yeah,
the park's lineup for sure.
I wish it was longer, but
Mm,
because it's over very quick. But the launch into that sidewinder is incredible.
yeah.
I was like, that is so good. Like, I couldn't get over how good that was. But yeah, I've got to say, I mean, we'll come on to Zadra in a minute, but I did Abyssus. What did you think of Abyssus?
Abyssus, well, I mean, before I wrote it, I had to temper my expectations a little bit, so I wasn't as disappointed by it as I probably would have been had I gone in with
Mm,
my initial expectations. But I like it. It's a fun ride. And like when it's warmed up, it gives a good ride. There is a sizable gap between it and the obvious top two though, and it's something I ride just for a fun looping experience. I
yeah.
enjoy it. It doesn't blow my mind.
Yeah, I
But
was a bit like I was going in with like pretty not low expectations, but not expecting the world from it because I'd heard people talking about it before. But it just those moments on it that I was like, oh, this is good. Like because we got a couple of back row goes on it, and it is good on the back, and
mhm.
some of it's very forceful on some of the elements. Like you can feel it like pushing you right into your seat,
Mm,
but I just the whole time I was just like wanting it just to go a bit faster and like just go for it. And it just,
yeah.
yeah, it just didn't feel like it was going anywhere. And yeah, it was a bit underwhelming, I've got to
Hmm.
say, because we did Formula first. So when I did Formula, that was like the
Right.
first new generation Vekoma I'd done. And I was
Hmm.
like, wow, if this is what Formula can do, then what is Abyss going to be like? And it is fun. Like it's
You
yeah,
expect Abyssus to be a solid step above Formula,
yeah,
like
yeah,
a you know a
yeah.
firm like Formula's here and then Abyssus is doing this, but like
Yeah, Abyssus is
that's
good
not
because
necessarily the case.
Abyssus is good because it's got like like the whole package in a way. Like the area is really cool when it gets finished eventually because it's still that whole
Yeah,
area still needs to be finished. It's still
yeah.
like looking a bit like unfinished. Because I'm pretty sure them sand pits that it goes around is meant to be full of water. It looks like it should be full of
Yeah,
water, but
I have heard that eventually those will get filled with water.
yeah.
I don't know when that's gonna happen. Like
But it's cool
whenever they decide to.
when you walk into it and you see the cobra roll going across like over the pathway. I thought that was a really nice entrance. But like
The bat wing, but I hear you.
bat wings, yeah, sorry. Yeah, the bat wing, the bat wing. Sorry. Yeah, the bat wing. I did know that, by the way. I just got confused. But yeah, so
On you
when
back your
you
corner, Sean.
when you go through that, it's really nice, and that's got all the water underneath it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of it, when you're going around it, you kind of just like, oh, this would be so good if it was actually over water, which is meant to be. But yeah,
did you see what I meant by the area though? Like there are some parts of it that look, you know, like of a nice quality, and then some areas where
yeah,
you can see clear as day how they cheaped out on the
yeah,
build of it.
yeah, you can, and I think that's just because it's like you know how you say they're a COVID baby when a baby was born in COVID. This is a COVID coaster, so so you kind of expect, I can expect that to happen, and you got to think as well, they're in full swing of constructing Sweet Valley at the minute. And they're also like constructing the Ferris wheel at the minute, the Wonder Wheel. So
Yeah, they
like
are.
they've got so much like construction going on as it is, that I just feel like they're going to complete them projects and then probably come back to Abyssus. It seems like, because Abyssus is pretty much there. There's only a few other
It
things
just needs to be finished off. And
Yeah,
I think that the completion of Sweet Valley is gonna maybe encapsulate Abyssus a little bit more as well, because Sweet Valley is gonna provide like the second entrance to Aqualantis. Because right now the only way you can get to it is down that really isolated back path at the back of the Dragon Zone over
yeah.
towards Aqualantis, isn't it?
Yeah, so
But
you go past, it's Smogsygrod, isn't it? Where
yeah.
Zadra is. You have to walk, which is a million miles away as it is, and you have to walk past
Yeah.
through there. And then you can tell you're coming into the back area of Aqualantis anyway, because there's no like portal or anything. But then if you go all the way down to the front where Sweet Valley is, there's an amazing Aqualantis portal that you go through, but that's all cut off, and that will link up with where I believe Extreme Energylandia is, like around about that area. I think that's where it links up, where Sweet Valley and that links up. That's what I thought anyway.
Extreme.
But you know the stunt show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where you'd get into Sweet Valley, and then that leads into Aqualantis. But
let me pull up Google.
Yeah, have a look at the map. But it's Craig said the thing about Energylandia, it's not just the coasters rides, it's a water park stunt show. Yeah, it's like a full-on resort. Like it has a resort feel to it.
Yeah,
and they're still they're built. You could see them building the hotel and stuff, the new on resort hotel that they're building at the minute. So it's just getting bigger and bigger. But yeah, it's at the minute I feel like the park is going through like growing pains in a way, where it's like you got to remember this place opened in 2014. Look, the whole park opened up in 2014, and look where it is now.
It's not even 10 years old yet.
It's not even 10 years old. So like there are certain bits in the park where you're like, oh, this is a bit weird. Like these like themes clash. It's a bit mental. And then like, yeah, some bits look unfinished. Some like Smogsygrod is such a cool area where Sarja is. But there's elements of it that just look a little bit too clean, because they've got like no trees or like there's no like growth anywhere, so it all just looks very kind of like it's not finished yet, because I've got to wait for things to grow, and when that happens, it's going to have such a big impact on that park as a whole.
Indeed.
But yeah, so
that is one thing I remember noticing about the. Oh, I've just seen Energylandia Extreme now. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about just the park in general, is just like the lack of there's foliage, but it's like shrubbery,
because it's like cheap to plant, isn't it?
Yeah. There's not like much in the way of naturalistic sort of elements to the park.
Yeah, and that's why I always see it as like a Planet Coast type park in a way, because it's kind of like all these like, especially with a newer area, so Smogsygrod where Zarja is and Aqualantis, like they are like steps above like the entire park. Like you can tell they're like going in that theming direction, so they're going in that right direction. But yeah, like it doesn't take away.
It has been said that they want to at some point they'll want to come back to the first half of the park and see what they can do in the ways of enhancing the thematic experience in the areas, maybe breaking some areas up from each other and giving sort of designated areas themed,
Yeah.
themed a more themed experience.
But you can tell,
each
yeah, you
area.
can tell, like literally that's the way they're going with it.
Mm.
But anyway, so first when we got to the park, obviously the first thing we went and done was Zadra. That was
Did you
something
go
I was
straight to you went straight to Zadra?
yeah.
Okay. All right, fair.
Because
I can't hate on that at all.
no, we went straight there. We walked past Hyperion. Like, obviously it looked so impressive and stuff, but I was just like, I need to get on this because before this, me and Joe had only done the only RMC we'd done was Untamed. And obviously that is like a baby compared to Zadra. And you can see it like as you're walking, so you can see it in the background. So yeah, we just walked straight up there. And like the first thing I said it on Twitter if you follow me on Twitter, but like the walk to the station is the most insane thing in the world. Like it's just mental. And again, going back to this whole like roller coaster, coaster thing, like Chris from Screw Loops was just like, oh, it's like when you build a station in Roller Coaster Tycoon and it's so far away from the path that like you just build bridges over the track and stuff. And I'm like, it's literally that. If you've ever played it when you're younger, like you'll know exactly what that means. But yeah, it's a bit mad. But once you catch your breath and you're at the station, yeah, they have this really. That was the first time we encountered like their kind of loading system, which is like
it's weird.
it's really weird when you first encounter it, but it's actually really good. It's really smart, I think, personally. So the way they do it, if you haven't been, is you go into like a hole. Yeah, you go.
I attempted to explain it, but I don't think I did a very good job.
So you go into like a loading pen sort of thing, and then there's a few different rows. So there's a separate row for a front row, which I think is always wicked when coasters do that, like when they have a separate front row. The next row to that is single riders, and then the end. I think it's the end two rows. It's just like every other carriage, and then you're standing there, and on the screens in front of you, it will just tell you like how many riders they require, and you go through a turnstile. So a little bit like how Hex, if you've been on Hex at Alton Towers, how it counts you through the turnstiles. It says like we require 8 riders, or if you're at the front, it will say we require 2 riders. 2 people go through the turnstile, and then you wait at a door, and then the door, when you're ready to go in, the door reveals, and you go into the air gates. So yeah, it was really confusing when we first was there because we was like, what the hell is going on? We're just seeing numbers and people walking. But it does make sense after a while, and they've got that on a lot of the different coasters around the park. And it's just like really smart. The only thing that I didn't find worked very well was single rider queues. Like it was really weird. Like we just saw loads of people queuing up for single riders, and then we'd go, and then we kept an eye on them. And then this one time we went in there, and we just saw people in the single rider queues just running to the gates together. So they just didn't. There's no one at the actual air gates to tell you where to go. So yeah, that was really confusing to us. We were just like, wow, like it's just a normal line then, really. It's not even single riders. But
yeah, like that's what we noticed. Like first of all, like there was a lot of obvious groups in there just trying to get to it, because like the single rider line ends basically right where the air gates, well, the specific lines for the air gates start. So
yeah.
like it's not very clear where the people in the single riders are supposed to go after they get to the end of the line. So like, and without a grouper, a ride off as a grouper there being able to tell people, it turns into a free for all.
Yeah.
But apart from that, like the batching system with that works pretty well.
Yeah, it does.
If you're going for like for a back row, like it works well if you get to the doors first.
Yeah.
it works really well, and it works well with Hyperion as well.
It's just really weird to go to a park where you haven't got someone there and you tell them like how many of the normally, you know, you're used to going, okay, it's 2 of us. It's not, it's just even on some of the junior coasters where they don't have the batching system, they still have the turnstile with the how, like, you know, we need 24 riders, and then like it just counts you down as you go in, and then there's no one there. You just sort yourself out going whichever air gate you want to go into. But yeah, it works really well. But anyway, we did Zadra. So our first ride, we did front row because we was just like, let's do it right. Let's do front row. You get the goggles, so you have to wear goggles on the Hyperion and on Zadra. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not like they've obviously got rid of their COVID measures. So that's how it used to be, and they've brought them back now. So you have to wear goggles.
We didn't.
Yeah, because I think it's because they're still strict on COVID. So they've brought them back now. Because I was like not expecting it, and then someone said, yeah, they've just introduced them again. But when it first opened, they were using goggles. But I don't think they've used it. What?
How did I never hear about that? Like when Zadra opened, I didn't know that.
I don't know if it because when did Zadra open again? 2019.
2019, yeah.
2019. But I don't know. Yeah, that's apparently that's what I got told.
That's funny.
But yes, you have to wear goggles, which just makes you feel like a bit of a badass, to be honest, when you go. But yeah, we did it, and man, like that thing is absolutely bonkers. It's so flipping fast. It's like 75 miles an hour, which ties it with Iron Gwazi, doesn't it? About the same. I think maybe Iron Gwazi is a bit faster.
I think Gwazi is posted to be 1 mile an hour faster.
Yeah, which is nothing really. But
okay,
like... 1 mile an hour faster. It's almost like Hyperion taking the record for highest flipping hypercoaster by 5 foot.
Literally,
but
I bet I hope when I eventually ride Iron Gwazi, I hope I feel all 1 mile per hour.
I want to feel it. But yeah,
that first Busch Gardens, or I want my money back.
That first drop on Zadra though was just insane, and then it's so good. It's so flipping good. And the one takeaway, I mean, the stall as well. Oh my god! If you go over that stall and you like look up, as in you're looking down, it's the maddest feeling because it feels like it goes on for so long as well.
Yep.
But the main, because obviously we've done Untamed, that is like that's like an ejector airtime machine. It feels like you're on a rodeo, basically going through that.
Yeah.
This is like so different. It almost feels like a different coaster model. Like it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
This is like, I think this is what's really good is that for a lot of people who may like complain about RMC's restraints being like really uncomfortable because it can give people bruising on their thighs because they can be quite unforgiving. This is like the perfect RMC for them. On the shins, yeah. This is like the perfect RMC because it's not really about the ejector. You do get ejector, like you do get it. But this is all about the speed. Like just like that's what it is. It's a speed. You do get like that aggression. It just feels mental. But it's unlike anything I've ever done. It flies through it. Obviously, it's smooth. But the good thing about that is it's the most rideable coaster I've ever been on. Like it's so rideable. This like even it hasn't taken the top spot for me. It's a solid second. Taron's still my favorite, but I think I've got to go back and do Taron to really like because I've got some attachment. I got attachment to Taron. But
he's got attachment issues, guys.
Yeah, I got attachment issues. But even with Taron, like you can do it a few times, but like then you're like, okay, I need to kind of a break. With Zadra, you can just keep doing it again.
Yeah. There's no way you could do Taron 13 times in a row.
I mean, I could.
Could never be me.
I could do that. But do you get what I mean? Like
no, I do.
It's like Zadra is like so intense, but also quite gentle at the same time. Like
because like how I see it is it has its moments of like subjecting force on you
Yeah,
and like extremely fast and aggressive force switching,
yeah,
but those moments are not rapid fire moments.
no,
Like
yeah, yeah,
like on Taran, there are, you know,
mm,
certain sections within the experience where it is just hitting you over and over and over again, like with rapid fire airtime moments, rapid fire whippy moments, you know, force switching, changes of directions like that. Like Zadra, you feel a sense of speed, like sort of like an elongated sense of speed
yeah,
within the moments where it's whipping you one way or the other,
mm,
or you know, like ejecting you out of the seat and stuff. And that's what I really like it, because that's why I really like Zadra. That's why Zadra's my favorite. Well, part of why Zadra's my favorite RMC,
yeah,
because it it balances the extreme like airtime and whippy moments and sensations with a solid sense of speed. And
yeah.
the moments of sense of speed are long enough for you to really feel like, yo, we are going so fast right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. You get to appreciate it more, don't you? Because
Yeah.
like I've been seeing people who have done Zadra and Iron Gwazi, and like some people do prefer Iron Gwazi because like because the elements are like obviously like more closer together. But
Hmm.
I feel like it's just that's what Zadra is. Obviously, I've not done it yet. I'm going to be doing it later this year, but I can't, like you say, I enjoyed that about Zadra. How you
Hmm.
got to really appreciate that speed and just like the smooth, like just that if you feel like you're flying almost,
Yeah.
like it's so mental. And but then now and again you'll just get like these, you know, these kind of like lateral G forces that just push you over, and then it's just like comes out of nowhere, and it almost
Yeah.
like accentuates it, if you know what I mean, rather than just like one thing after another. Um, like don't get me wrong, Untamed is still like I still love it so much, but it's just different. It's just different.
Mm.
It's they're good at different things.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, yeah, but it's hard, but it's just so good. It's so good. And I mean
It's
we got what
addictive.
it's
it's a
it's super
it's a
addictive.
it's addictive.
um so one thing I found out was I'd heard about the Wondergate before, but it was only open once when we were there. And it was on the
Yeah.
Wednesday.
It
So
was
the
only
Wonder
open once for us
Yeah,
as well, I
yeah.
think.
So when it's like super, when there's no like super long queues. The thing is, right? What I love about Energylandia is like their concept of long queues is like it's down the stairs a little bit, which is like it's like if it's over 10 minutes, they add a train on they add a new train on. It's mental, and then they'll get they'll add a train.
That's what I
All
was
right.
going to ask as well.
Yeah,
Did you happen to see them you know,
yeah,
transfer a train on or off on
yeah.
Zadra,
Quite a
and
few
how
times,
fast they do that?
mate.
It's
It's so
insane,
rapid.
isn't it?
They announce on the loudspeakers like we are adding the train. It's going to be about 10 minutes, which I think is
Mm,
great when they just tell you like, oh, it's going to be about 10 minutes. It's
yeah.
not even 10 minutes. Like they'll get it round.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
like
not.
5 minutes max,
Mm.
and they'll send it around, and then yeah, you're back on it, and then they just wrap it. But they're just not afraid to like add and remove trains, like even if it's in like within an hour.
Literally. So like I can't remember if I think it was the last day actually
Yeah,
that we were there. Literally, like the line was down the stairs and like
yeah,
by the um it was actually like past the lockers, and like,
mm,
you know, so it was a solid line. It was about half an hour line,
yeah,
and they literally, it was on one train, and they
mm,
literally threw on the second train just to get
yeah,
the line down, and then
yeah,
took
and then
the
take it
second train
off.
back off again. I was
It's
like,
mad.
what the fuck are you doing?
And every time we come into the break run,
That
which
was
by the
crazy. I've never
way,
seen that before.
prepare yourself for the break run. By the
Oh,
way, you
dude,
literally come out, you fly out your seat on that break run.
the way it slams into the brake run is an
Yeah,
element on the ride in itself.
yeah, you literally like it's not even painful for some reason. I mean, it might be
It's-
on you if your thighs are if they're hurting
yeah.
already, but it's kind of like you learn to brace yourself. But every time it's coming around the break run, there's always people inspecting that other train, like always, like with their torches, like going, like
Yeah.
always someone in there, like just going over everything,
Mm.
which is mad to see. But yeah, like I just couldn't believe it. Like you say,
Get pummeled by the restraint.
yeah, you do. But it's yeah, the operations are great at that park personally. So
They are good.
they're very, very good. The fact, like I say, the fact that it goes, oh, it's getting a little bit over 10 minutes, add another train on, fly through the queue. And yeah,
What did you think of the moment? Like, see, I still can't decide between two moments on Zadra, which is my favorite. The tip out. You know,
yeah,
after the stall where it comes around, it tips you one way and tips you the other. Either that or the S bend or S hill before the final roll. What do you think of that S bend? Because my soul left my body on on that S bend.
When when it's like, especially later on the day, because if you go on that on first thing in the day, like it does warm up throughout the day, but not significantly. Like it's weird. It doesn't seem to, like, sometimes you'll do a coaster, obviously, and you'll be like, I can't wait for this to like go faster. But you do it in the morning and it feels like the one you've done the previous night. But then you do the one in later on, and you're like, "Oh no, now this is it."
See, like, what's crazy is like, it's like, because we had a couple first thing in the morning rides as well, and and it's like you can tell it's going slow. Like it's notably slower. I found, like, you can tell it's going slower than how it is when it's, you know, it's really gotten going, it's really warmed up. But it's still batshit mental.
It's just mad.
like
So...
compared to anything else, it's still ridiculous. It's just that, like, when Zadra's really gotten going, and I mean, if anyone saw on Twitter, like me, Sean, and James Larson and me and Joe, actually, me and Joe and James Larson were just talking on Twitter. We were talking about, wait till you get one of those rides that just make you just like they make you change religion, right? Like once you've had one of those, and then you have one in the morning, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is it's notably slower. It's still crazy though.
Yeah,
it's so crazy in the morning.
Were you getting night rides when you went?
Yeah, so we went on the weekend, the one Halloween weekend that they had, where it closed at 10 p.m. on the Saturday.
See, I can't imagine what that would be like at 10, like, well, like even like 9. Do you know what I mean? Like,
dude,
that's because, like I say, it was 6 p.m. closes, so yeah, it was still probably not up to the level of one of those rides, but like something I was wanting to mention as well is how, like, the front and back are like, they're not that different.
They're not.
Like
they're not very different, are they?
They're not that different, like, at all. Like, I'd say the middle is like more different to the front and back than anything. I don't know. This might have just been me, but me and Joe both felt this. Like I felt like we got a lot more ejector in the middle, and I don't know why that is. That's what I felt, and it goes against all kind of like preconceived notions.
The only place I think where I could see a discernible difference in between, because like you said, like the front and back aren't very much different, but if you're in the middle, the only place where I think you could see like a notable difference in how it takes an element is that one airtime hill in between, like in the middle of the ride, before it hits the roll that goes into the structure.
Yeah.
You know which one I mean?
Yeah.
As it like that has an element of B&M hyperness in it, in the sense that the airtime is just much more balanced over it if you're in the middle. Versus when you're in the front or the back, you're going to feel the airtime more so either on the front side of the airtime hill or the exit of it.
Yeah,
that's really probably the only area where I saw a difference between the middle and either side of the train. But depending on like the time of day you ride, it can get there can be differences to be found.
By the way, guys, if you've got any questions about Energylandia, if you've not been before, let us know in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that park's worth going to just for Zadra alone. Honestly, I can see why the hype is there. I completely see it, and I can see why a lot of people think it's one of the best coasters in the world, if not the best coaster in the world. Evidently, when I was there, a lot of the coasters have awards on the wall, like kind of accolades that it's received. And so I think it was on the Tuesday. I was just like looking around, and then we saw our good friend Coaster 365. Obviously, he does this competition every year.
Shut up, Brian.
Brian, man. So Coaster 365 called Coaster Madness. And this year, Zadra won. It's got a public vote through polls and stuff. And like he had a plaque on the wall, and I looked at it and I was just like, no way. I was like, how have I not heard about this? So I went on Twitter and I was just like trying to search it all up, and I was just like, okay, Coaster 365 Zadra. No, nothing's coming up. I was like, what is this, by the way? And it blew his mind, didn't it?
He lost it. He lost his shit when he saw that. He threw it in the Drunk Riders Discord. I saw it when you put it in our Chain Dogs chat, and then saw it afterwards when Bryant shared it in the Drunk Riders Discord, and it was just like, what the fuck?
Imagine having your handle on Zadra. Do you imagine, like, just immortalized forever,
dude? And I mean, you will have seen it because obviously you saw it in person. But like the quality on that pack as well. That's a quality plaque.
Yeah, like, it's properly done. Yeah, it's properly done. And there's two on there, and his is like the second one down. Like, it's mad. It's so crazy. And then
it's just insane because like it's just one of these enthusiast things that we do like each year and stuff. And the fact that like a park just like caught wind of it on social media and then took it upon themselves to just put a plaque up on the ride about it.
So funny. There's one plaque on Abyssus that says, I can't remember who give it to him, but it says Abyssus is best novelty ride. I was like, what the hell does best novelty ride mean? Oh, I was laughing at that. Like, it's so weird. I was like, what is a novelty ride?
I love them for it because it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, it's awesome because I mean, like, what if there's just some really random funny story behind that plaque as well?
Yeah, there probably is
some other enthusiast somewhere out in Europe or something. Like that's on the one hand, it's like that is random as fuck, but at the same time, it's really cool to see. Like, it's super cool.
It's amazing. I just love it. Like, when parks like just like the fact that they're getting like accolades and stuff. Like, there's a lot of places that don't do that, and it was nice to see that personally. So second ride we did the whole trek, because remember, we had like a half day, so we kind of had to just like prioritize what we wanted to do. So we took this trek down to Hyperion. So obviously Hyperion is a hyper coaster by Intamin. It's, like we said earlier, it's 5 foot taller than Shambhala, which makes it the tallest hypercoaster in Europe now. And it was really good. Like, it was good. I wasn't blown away by it personally. I think the first drop is amazing, don't get me wrong. That first drop is really, really good. But the first ride I had on it was like an outside seat, and my God, was it rattling?
It does rattle. It does rattle.
And I was on the back row on the wing. It's like a wing seat basically. And it was a real big rattle on it. Joe loved it. But I come off it and I was like, the first I mean, right, there's some really good. Right after that, I did an inside seat and liked it more. and then I did a front row seat, and the front row middle seat for me was like the best ride I had on it. It was wicked.
Yeah.
It was so good. The dive drop is just flipping bonkers. Like,
it's mental, innit?
it's so flipping crazy. But I think after that, for me, it just petered out a bit. It didn't matter what seat it was in. I was just like, it kind of just went, it just got a little bit boring for me.
Right.
I kind of felt like it was I feel like with Hyperion, it was built when Intamin were like not really, they're toying around with things. I feel like what they've done with Conda, for example, which is obviously a mega coaster, but the elements on that work so much better. Like, I feel like they've nailed it with Conda. I feel like the four seats across, they just have issues. Intamin just seem to have issues with that. Like, it felt so bulky and unnecessary. And I understand it's probably for throughput, but yeah, I was kind of like not blown away by it, which really surprised me because I'm a big fan of hypers. But I think if I hadn't done Conda, I probably would have felt a little bit better. But I was expecting like Conda levels of like, that was insane.
Right.
But I felt like it didn't really know what it was doing. I felt like it was trying to be a B&M hyper, and then kind of tried to just do some, like, I don't know. It was weird. But I was surprised by how I didn't think that was world class, and which annoys me when people say, "Oh, there's so many people on Twitter saying Hyperion's better than Zadra." Like, what world are you in? Honestly, I can't understand how anyone would even think that. I know everyone's got their own opinions, but Jesus, come on, like, I don't get that at all. But
well, you are wrong. Get out of the podcast. Like just fuck you and your opinion. No, I'm joking, obviously. No, I mean, what I will say is, like, like, Zadra is firmly better than Hyperion, 100%. I mean, so I remember someone saying on one of your tweets, "Oh, let me know which you prefer," and you were like, "Zadra, 1,000%." I was just like,
yeah, it's no competition.
Yeah. That's the correct.
I also think it's probably a little bit unfair that I experienced Zadra, which is like my first big RMC, and then I went and did Hyperion. Like, I felt like Hyperion, it was a bit unfair on Hyperion, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know
so
what I mean?
That's actually a good point, because so we did Hyperion first.
Right.
I think we did Hyperion first, and excuse me, I think like as in like the first ride of the day. And well, and I mean, I really like Hyperion. It's very close to my top 10. In fact, I mean it's number 11. Like, it's just outside. And maybe if I had ridden Zadra before Hyperion, maybe I may feel well, at first, I may have felt a bit more similarly to how you felt. But we rode Hyperion first, and then I think we rode Formula in between Hyperion and Zadra as well. So like, we didn't ride Zadra first, or like as one of the first rides. So like, it was kind of like, first of all, I was just kind of, I had really wanted to ride Hyperion for so long, and it was just like, I can't believe I'm even standing in front of it. Like it was one of those moments. I was just like,
it's so impressive.
After so long, I'm finally standing in front of this, in front of this ride.
The fact that it's the first thing you see when you're like, not even in the car park, like approaching it, like you go past that dive drop, and it's like insane. Like, the scale of it is I mean, like, it is massive, and it's like, it's just, it's imposing as you park up in the car park and you just see it there, and it's just like, that is fucking huge. But like, like, from, I didn't have one thing, like, I have heard people say like it rattles, and it does rattle if you're in an outside seat, especially if you're towards the back of the train as well. Like, it does rattle. I didn't find that to be a problem personally. But it was more like it was more like when I was in the outside seat on the back, it was more like you could hear a rattle, but then like the actual seats, it was like a judder. It was like, and
Yeah.
I didn't get it
Yeah.
until the second half, and then when it starts juddering, it's like a proper judder. And then and Joe, well, I didn't say anything to Joe about like this bit what I'm about to say, but when Joe, because Joe like loved it, and I was like, yeah, I really liked it, but like it was really like rattling me about. And then
Right.
Joe, we swapped seats, exact same one, went to the back, did the exact same seat, swapped over, and she said, I've got a bit of a headache. You know what you get on Gerstlauer sometimes. I don't know if anyone relates to that, but sometimes I get a bit of like a back headache from a Gerstlauer if it's like particularly like rough. And Joe went, yeah, I've got a bit of a Gerstlauer headache, and I was like, yes, exactly. Like what I was like, that was like I'd never even told her that, and so that's kind of like I probably took it away a little bit. But yeah, carry on anyway.
Yeah, like it is that kind of that kind of rattle that's not really uncomfortable.
No,
But like you
it's not
get
uncomfortable.
off and
Yeah,
you just I mean I get it very selectively on
yeah,
a very select few coasters, but like yeah, it does kind of just feel like it's just like yeah, it's just I think the best way to describe it is like a vibrational headache.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. It like
like
it passes very quickly. Like it's not
yeah,
like it passes. By the way,
yeah.
I just need to answer this. Matt said, how much were the beers and cocktails? So the beers,
We do have to answer
yeah,
the important questions.
we do. So like the general thing was that the pints were about £3 each, and the cocktails I think were about £4. So dirt cheap, really. When you think of theme parks
They're
and
real
beers,
cheap.
like it's so cheap. Like
Yeah.
yeah, really, really good. Like really good price, and dangerously cheap actually.
The drinks are good
Yeah.
as well. Like
Yeah, they are
the
really
drinks
good. Like
are
all the
really good.
beers are very nice. We
Mm.
had this one beer that's in the I can't remember how it's called now, but there's a restaurant that's like when you enter through the first gate, you turn right, and it's like inside like the actual front entrance bit, like the actual
Yeah,
cafe
yeah.
bit.
I know which one you mean.
And
Yeah.
it's like a quick serve restaurant, but it's really fancy in there. Like it's really
Mm.
nice, but it's only a quick serve place, and it's like almost like school dinners with a flipping tray and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can get a beer in a full on glass, like a proper glass bit, like in a glass. Everywhere else there's plastic, but in this
Mm.
place you can get a glass. And then they do beer syrups, which is like the syrups you put in coffees, but they put it in your beer. And they asked me, and I was like, "What, a syrup in my beer?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah." They was like, "People like it," and I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'll try it." It was pretty decent actually.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, Joe said Royal Restaurant.
Royal Restaurant, that's it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was really good. Nice little place because it was raining a bit on the Wednesday, so we just had to take cover in there for a bit, and it was really nice. But
Mm.
um,
But yeah, back to Hyperion. I came off the first ride and um I described it as what Fury 325 would feel like if it was made by Intamin.
right,
And because of how the drop felt, like
mm,
because of how steep it is, the feeling of just just seemingly endless weightlessness
it's
going all the way
the
down.
drop is special. The drop is
Mm.
special, definitely.
That's one of the best drops I've done on a coaster.
Yeah, I'd
And
agree
then
with that.
just like
Yeah,
I the second half, I can understand why someone would feel like there's not really a lot going on in it, but I just love the sense of speed
mm,
through that second half, and especially
mm,
the last couple of airtime hills, and then like there's a couple of a couple of whippy moments
mm.
in the like in the Stengel dives in the second half where like there's like a jolt of force, but then like just overall, just the sense of speed being that low to the ground and then just gliding over the ground, and like the way it takes the last couple of hills before it hits the brakes, I was just like,
Yeah,
yeah, it still felt like it was going really fast, and I just like straightforward speed, like sometimes
yeah, but
like
I like speed, but I don't
mm,
know whether it's because you were getting like later rides on it, or I don't know what it is.
yeah
But like I just
yeah
felt like it wasn't going it didn't have that speed for me in that second half. I feel like it was like petering out. So maybe it is like, I guess it's like,
I had been told
yeah.
by Larson that apparently he had heard that it is running not generally not as good this year so far as it had been last year.
Right.
So that might be the case. Obviously, I don't know. I haven't been yet, but
if that thing was speeding through, like, I would absolutely love it, because
because you were trying to get out there with us last year, weren't you?
I was,
like,
yeah, mate. The amount of trips that we've tried to plan for Energylandia and it just never happened.
It's just been tricky, especially obviously for obvious reasons in the past couple of years. But yeah, like, because, and like you said, like we got faster rides like later on in the days and stuff, and like without question, without a shadow of a doubt. And if Sloan or James Larson happens to listen to this, they'll know exactly which ride I'm talking about. One particular night ride we got on it, front row, unbelievable.
See, I can imagine, like, sometimes with a coaster, it only takes one ride to like completely change your opinion of it. You had that with Icon, didn't you, Mikhail? Like
yeah,
you had that one ride at night and it completely changed your opinion on that coaster,
right?
And that's all it takes, I think. But yeah, like I say, like I just wanted a little bit more out of it, and also I think, like I say, like with Conda, because it was 2 across, it just seems so much more agile, and it was just so.
This is interesting, because since you've done the 2, like, you can compare intricately on their execution, and I obviously I haven't ridden Conda, but that mention of it just feeling more agile and feeling like it can, maneuver itself better and more effectively.
Just doing that so recently, and then doing Hyperion, I just felt like it was like very I felt like I was like in a shopping trolley at some points, where it was like it's just so bulky because it's like 4 across, and I'm just like, I don't know if Intamin just have this issue. It's like Furious Bacco, man. Like, them wing seats are flipping terrible. But then you go on the inside seat and it's flipping amazing. It's a great coaster. So it's like worlds apart. I mean, Hyperion is not that bad at all. Not that bad. It's still like, I'd still say it probably still is even hitting my top 10, to be honest with you. That probably definitely, if I have to have a proper think about it. But this is the problem, isn't it? When you've got like 2 like probably like world-class coasters in the same park, like, you're gonna, and also like just doing awesome coasters in like a short amount of time, like Ride to Happiness, like Conda, and now I've done like Zadra and then Hyperion. You're gonna start, I don't know, thinking about, I want a little bit more, So it's doing.
Do you feel like the sort of not catch-22, but just like the other side of that is like you start to have memories that start to just merge together, and like you start forgetting things, like when you ride things. This is
why I'm talking about Taron, because I'm like, in my head, that is the best coaster I've done, but I did that in flipping 2020. It's been a long time, and I've done a lot of other like world-class coasters since then. So I need to go back and do Taron and see if it like lives up to what I think it does in my head, or is it because I just never done anything like that in my life? And in my head, like, that's just, I think it's better than it actually was. I don't know. I need to go back and do it now. But
if I were you, I would make it a priority to go to Wintertraum.
We are. This year. I think we are. I think we're either going to do it this year or like January. I think maybe.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to definitely try and get back as soon as possible.
I feel like nighttime Taron might make Taron your number 0 coaster for you.
It's just. Yeah,
because that thing is crazy during the day, but at night, bro, oh my god, oh, wow!
It's so good, But yeah, so people were talking about Viking coaster. Did you? Oh my god!
Let's jump in the chat and see what people are saying.
So that coaster would be good, because I do like wild mouse coasters and that them style coasters, but talk about unnecessary over the restraint overhead, like it's so ridiculous, like it makes it so
It ruins the
uncomfortable.
whole ride.
Like it, we started doing it, and I was like, "This is wicked! It's spinning so much." And then I was like, "This is really, really good." And then suddenly, bang, bang, and I was just like, "Ow, this is hurting now." Yeah, that really bashes your ears, good and proper, man.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
it's such an unnecessary
it
coaster.
was just so insane. Something I wanted to actually talk about restraint wise, the vest restraints on the comas are again very unnecessary. I'm
Yeah,
guessing
this
the
okay.
only
This is interesting
reason,
because I did not
yeah,
expect it. Because you text me. I assume you just like come straight off
yeah,
of Formula or Abyss or something like that, and you text me
yeah.
saying like they're like those restaurants are awful, and I was like, are they?
I
Because
wouldn't say I wouldn't say that. Or I think I just thought those were awful because I just want a lap bar, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
Vacoma's new style like seats and restraints are very very intimate like. So you look at them, you go, oh, they look, very intimate, and you sit in them, and then you got this flipping thing that like just kept like smashing my head every time I went down,
Yeah.
and then I'm just like, and that once you're going, you don't even realize they're there. Like they're
Mm.
fine. They're way better than like the B&M style like vest
They're much more
restraints. What?
breathable.
Yeah, they literally mold to your body, so they're okay. But again, I just feel like they're there to like make people feel like they're safe. But I don't know. It's just I
Yeah.
just don't see the point. Like I love that. I love that feel of like being free, and I think that's something that probably Formula not so bad because it's just so short and it's not noticeable. But when you're on Abyssus, I feel like if you could just be free and nice and that, like it would be so much better. But you just always got this feeling of like you're
And
being like
Vacoma's
tied
track
down.
and Vacoma's new track design language, which I'm gonna touch on,
Yeah,
you know, at some point as well, is conducive to a very freeing seat and restraint setup. So
yeah,
like it because it's so smooth and
yeah,
in terms of not in terms of how the train goes, but like
mm,
just in terms of the actual like design of the elements, like that it's
yeah,
all very uniform,
yeah,
which is and graceful,
yeah.
which is which is perfect for just feeling free in the seat.
It does. It
But
feels very. I mean, especially Abyssus feels very Mac like to me. Um, just the design, like the
mm,
layout of it for me. And that's what I love about Max is that you got a little lap bar and that's it. And I just think we're beyond that now. Why do we need to have a vest? Like they
and it's
don't.
like the thing with Max as well. The the seats sit way higher above the train
Way higher, yeah,
than the new Vacomas do. So
yeah,
like that accentuates the forces a little bit as well.
yes,
When
yeah,
the train changes directions, you're gonna feel the laterals a bit more
yeah,
because you're further away from the roll point. So like you're
yeah.
gonna feel like you're getting swung to and
Mm.
like more forcefully.
I'm
Whereas
very
on this, it's
interested.
like
I'm very interested to see how these Facomas age because we're getting this kind of almost like RMC thing with Facomas now, where there's just so many pumping out
yeah.
that we're not going to see how they last. I feel like they should last pretty well, but like I think me and Joe were saying, like with going on like Formula, especially Formula and Abyssus, I'm like, it feels like you're kind of getting into an Intamin, but then there's just little things on it, like a little sharp lip up by your legs on the coaster on the underneath the side. I'm like, that's just looks a little bit cheap.
Mm.
There's certain things on the Vacomas where I'm like, it feels like it sounds harsh to say like you're on a knockoff, but it just feels like it doesn't feel like you're on like a premium coaster
I know what you
personally.
mean. I know what you
Um,
mean.
People
And
might
I
disagree.
feel like I feel like it's things like that and um just sorry things like that that just for one, like they'll end up being a more affordable product for parks.
Yeah.
In terms of when parks are looking for a looping coaster that everyone can enjoy.
Yes.
Like
very much family coasters, aren't they? Really? Well, like older, maybe like just getting into coaster type thing.
I think yeah, kind of, and then just like a looping option that won't scare off people.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
That people are much less likely to come off and think, oh, I don't want to do that again. It was a bit too much.
Yeah.
You know
And I think the vest restraints kind of feed into that, if you know what I mean. Like that, it feels like a nice introduction, and will get people going on it and not feel as scared because they're like, okay, it's not just a lap bar. I mean, I shared my Enzo POV, like 360 POV on a TikTok, and it got like, it took off, like it got like loads of views and stuff. But like all the comments on it, like you'd be amazed at all the comments on it that are literally people saying, oh my god, like I would not feel safe on that. Where's the restraint? Like, not, they weren't saying the restraints, but they're just like, it's just like a lap bar. What the hell? You know what I mean? So you forget as an enthusiast actually how big of a deal that is.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah,
but like what I was gonna say is just like that's my thing with the new Vekomas. Like I don't have a problem, like just me personally, in terms of my reception and enjoyment of them. I don't really have a problem with the seat and restraint setup. My my thing which separates them from like the likes of the Mach multi launches and definitely the Intamin multi launches is just the design language of the layouts and the elements. Like it's you shortly, like you'll be able to see what I mean now when I say like the transitions are much more uniform and predictable on Vekomas than they are on Intamin's, Machs, and RMCs as well.
It doesn't just like you don't get very many lats on them. It's just like it doesn't just like surprise you with like a, you know what I mean? It's I know exactly what you mean.
There's much less of that unpredictable nuance.
So John said Lek coaster is very intense.
I was just about to say.
But that's what I wanted to hear, like, because we wanted to try and fit Lek coaster in at Legendia, but it just didn't really fit into our schedule, and we was like, we'd rather not stress over having to get to like another park an hour away and then get back to the airport and stuff. So we were like, we're definitely going to go back to Energylandia, so let's have something to look forward to go back to. So we didn't get there, but yeah, like what's your opinion, you know, comparing?
Lek coaster is by far the best of the new Vekomas. Well, I've heard some people say like the you know, Phoenix at Far Up Summerland, you know, the new one that's opened up. People, I've heard a lot of people saying like that's, you know, around the same level as Lek. Obviously, I've not been on that yet, but of the ones I've done, at the very least, like Lek coaster is. I mean, Lek coaster's in my top 20.
Right.
Abyssus is not in my top 50. Let's put it that way. And everything that I just said about like what I call in terms of describing the design language, new Vekoma syndrome.
Yeah.
None of that applies to Lek coaster.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
None of that applies to Lek coaster.
It's strange, that is, isn't it? Because they technically are the same. We were talking about this the other week. They are technically like the same model, different layouts, but it's just like completely different, which is just weird.
It's like, so like in the conversations that I've had with people about it, it's like because Lek coaster was, I can't remember if it was the first or just one of the first that they did, as you know, as they transitioned to this like style, the new generational style. But Lek coaster feels like Vekoma didn't expect it to run as aggressive as it does.
Right. Yeah. And like when Alan Shalkey went on, was it Wonder Woman?
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
You've got to watch that POV if you've not seen Alan Shelton.
It's hilarious.
He's like, that's not meant to do that.
That's exactly the point I was gonna make. Literally just like that. And then like, you know, the model got refined in response to that and became something, well, became closer to what I suppose they originally intended it to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, like with the Raptors, I mean, like they're not going to take them down, are they? They're still very serviceable coasters. They're just
they end up getting a fan base, and that's the thing with Lake Coaster now. You know, it's in a random kiddie park.
Yeah,
and people are like traveling from all over the world to do it. You know,
exactly.
It's like it's kind of like if you're going to go to Energylandia, you got to go and do that sort of thing. That's how it's been. It's almost like an extension of Energylandia now. But yeah, no, I think so. What I wanted to also say is something that really surprised me was Mayan Coaster, their SLC.
Oh yeah,
I had not done because obviously it's in Fusion, right?
Basically
your standard.
It's your standard layout SLC,
standard layout, so in Fusion layout, but with the actual like good trains, like with the good restraints. Oh my god, mate! Like I was on that. Like you'll see on my POV, like I'm making some mad noises on that. I was just like, we got a front row, so I didn't do any other rows, but we got a front row. We just did it once for the cred. And we did it, and I was just like, man, could you imagine if Infusion ran like that? Like that would be sick. It was so I was really impressed by that.
It's much better. I'm still not crazy about it, but no. it's much better. Like it's much better.
Well, if you're comparing it to I think if you can't compare it to any of the other, like, you know, the major coasters in the park. It's still a filler coaster, but I was like, it just like really surprised me. A bit like when I did Kamali for the first time, when I was just like expecting like just standard SLC and being like, oh, actually this has got some pretty big forces on it, like Jesus. So
and that was like that. I mean, like Kamali's even more confusing for me because like it's not like it has the same trains or restraints as Mayan Coaster does, but it just runs so much smoother.
It's the layout. I don't understand. I don't know if it's.
I don't know if it's just because of the custom layout that it has, or
I think that makes a massive difference to it, really, because like that standard. What is it? 639 meters or something like that. I can't remember what they call it, but that style layout, which is like the standard one you get pretty much everywhere. It is just like rapid, isn't it? So if it's running rough, like you feel it, like you've
in the front row as well.
Like, literally. But that was surprising for me. In terms of like all the other like creds, obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you?
We got everything.
I say, did you complete the whole park like it's a video game?
That's what me and Joe did. When me and Joe got all the creds, we was just like it was like Pokemon. It's like we caught them all. Oh yes, so it's like 17 creds to do is actually quite a feat when you're like trying to get in everything in that park. But we did everything. We did absolutely everything, and that was really good because I was like, normally you go to a park and there's always something. There's always something that's down, and everything was running fine.
Which is another testament to just Energylandia's operations because we didn't. I'm thinking back to it now. We had 3.5 days there with obviously an evening at Legendia as well, but 3.5 days. I don't think anything had like significant downtime.
No,
throughout the entire time we were there.
It's the thing is there is so much in that park because it's not just the coast. It's not just 17 coasters, but there's so many flat rides there as well. You've got two rapids there. One's like a really small.
There's two.
You've got like. And obviously you've got Speed as well, which is a great water coaster. That's insane. The drop on that is really, really mental, actually.
It just keeps going.
Just keeps on going. Just keeps on going. And the I've never done like a never done a elevator lift hill like that
Oh
tall.
yeah, me neither.
I've done like small ones, but I've never done one that tall. And the fact that it like curved, like I didn't expect it. I didn't even look at it off right, but I
Oh
didn't
yeah, it
expect
tilts, doesn't
it tilts.
it?
Like
Yeah.
the lift goes like that. So you're
Yeah.
like going like that as you're going up, and it's so mental. But yeah, that was really, really fun.
It's proper weird.
But yeah, then we managed to get in the dance party, the gyro swing flat. That was
Oh
really,
yeah,
really good,
nice.
actually.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That goes like nearly beyond beyond
Yeah,
the top of it.
it gets up
Goes
there.
up high.
Like,
And it's a really long cycle as well. Like the flat rides
yes.
there, the cycles are long. But yeah, there's
Yeah,
loads
so-
of stuff there. There's like that. We didn't get on the tower. We didn't get on the booster, which looked really good actually. I'm a big fan of the boosters, but we didn't get on that. So there's loads of like there's loads of little things there that you just like, oh, I want to go on that, I want to go on that, I want to go on that, and like loads of like little kiddie stuff that you just think looks fun.
and like everything's really well presented. Like
yeah,
you hear about, like, so many people hear about this park
mm,
and like all of the junior and kiddie coasters and family
yeah,
coasters that it has and stuff, and like you kind of paint a picture, it kind of paints a picture in your mind of it just being like, oh, there's just, you know, these like some of them are legit traveling coasters, and like you get this picture of just like, oh, there's just kiddie coasters just scattered
yeah,
about everywhere, but you
yeah,
get that it's not until, and I remember saying this after I
yeah,
came back as well, it's not until you actually go and you see
mm,
how well presented
yeah,
all of the attractions are, and it's just
yeah.
it contributes a lot to just the vibe of the place. And
We'll come.
it's like you saying you weren't, you were
We'll
surprised about, oh, go on, but
I said we'll come back onto that. Keep that in your head in case I forget. But Digital Dan said EL's operational questionable was in the queue for Sarja. They took a train off 4 minutes later. We did talk about that earlier.
yeah, we did.
The fact that happened to us, but it's kind of like they see the queue get up to 10 minutes and then they're just like, okay, let's add a train, clear the queue, and then take it off again. And that kept happening all day. So it's kind of questionable, but also I think it's kind of good. Like the fact that they add a train on. Just to like clear it and then put it on. They're not afraid.
They're just
to do
like
that.
militant levels of it. They have
Yeah.
like militant levels of attentiveness to,
And I think
that,
that's,
and I can see how that could
yeah.
maybe bite them in the arse sometimes.
I think that could be weird when you're not used to that type of operations. Because like if you're not used to like, okay, what they've just done that, but I think the fact that they add the trains on so quickly and take them off so quickly is it's okay in my books. Like I quite liked that. Like because we weren't waiting any longer than 10 minutes for Zadra every time we did it. It was just pretty much straight on. So yeah, in terms of presentation, like the bat boomerang like was the best presented boomerang coaster I've ever seen in my life, and that was really fun, man. Like that was a good boomerang as well. Like that station is probably one of the best themed station I have in the park, which is really weird. Like I remember being in there going, actually, this station's probably better than.
It's randomly really nice.
It's got like loads of details in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also like the upkeep of the park's really, really good as well. Like honestly,
it's clean,
so clean. I mean, so like Efteling levels of clean where you'll be walking around the park and there'll just be like teams of like litter pickers like constantly like you'll be sat down eating something, a group will just leave, and then suddenly like people are straight on it, take everything away, gone.
On a segue.
Like honestly, the amount of segways in that park, like,
there's loads of them in there.
And you're walking along, like your legs are hurting, and you're just like, "Oh mate, I want a fucking Segway.
Can I just borrow it?"
I just love it because, like, we saw. I don't know if you saw this when we were there, but something must have been cracking off in one of the parts of the park, and we just saw like fucking 10 guys, like
a legion of them. It's just
like loads. They're just going down, and then like after that, like there's more just going down, and they had like the little earpiece on. Like they are efficient there, man. Like they know what they're doing. But yeah, it was just like mega clean. I'm trying to think of like other things. Like it really exceeded my expectations. That park did. I think it's
In fact, actually, in terms of operations, one thing I will say,
Joe just said, I dropped one piece of popcorn and it swept up straight away. Yeah, they're like ninjas. They're just
you just catch it before it hits the ground.
Also, the food, mate. The food, like I said it earlier, but the food is so good and it's so cheap. Like we ordered a mini, we had a cheese toasty, right? And it looked like it's going to be this big, right? We get it out. It was like £4. We got it given to us. It was this long.
It was massive.
It was flipping insane. And we ordered two because we thought it was going to be small, and we ate half each. Like the food is really good there, and it's like massive portions as well, which is crazy.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because like so in terms of questionable operations or just logistics.
Yeah.
So one story I have. So I had remembered when Amusement Insider, shout out Austin, Amusement Insider was over at Energylandia last year on his massive European trip. He hit like fucking I don't know how many parks he hit on that trip. It was out over there for ages. But when he was at Energylandia, he had found this place that did pierogies, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he said they were really, really, really super good. And I remembered having pierogies at Knoebels, and I was just like, these are so good. Why are they not in every single park?
What are they? What I've never
it's
heard
like
of that.
this. It's sort of like this baked sort of snack with like it's not it's like a dumpling with. I mean, you can put like different stuff in it. Like some of like the ones I had at Knoebels, just literally just potato in there. But like you can put like different kinds of meat in there. You can put cheese in it, different things in there, and like it's really nice. So apparently, and like they were selling them at Energylandia. So I messaged Austin and was like, I remember you saying about these good pierogies that you got at the park. Do you mind just telling me where you got them from? And it was like over at this random little place in one of the kids sections.
Right.
So I was like, oh, awesome, thanks. I'll go check it out. So me, James and Ben, the other one of the other guys that was with us, we went over on the last day. Well, we were looking for that for lunch on the last day, and they went ahead to go and to go check it out. And while I was
I am dedicated, Sam, by the way.
He is dedicated. Yeah, so they went ahead of me to go check it out while I was looking for some merch. I think I was just looking for something in particular. I can't remember what it was, but I told him just go ahead and I'll go meet you over there. This was about, it was coming up to 3 p.m. When this was, and when I had gotten a message from James.
It's better be a good story, McCall, because this is so long.
Well, I'd gotten a message saying they just closed.
Yeah,
it's like fucking 3 p.m. I was like,
that's weird.
Exactly. So I was like, I eventually got back to them, and I was just like,
yeah,
what the hell? It's fucking closed at like in like mid-afternoon. And they got food. Like they got them and said they were really good, and I didn't get to have them.
I've just seen these pierogies. We had these, so they was called dumplings where we had them. Dumplings.
So you fucking had them as well?
No, we didn't have them at the park though. We had them at Western Camp where we stayed. They served them there, so they're called dumplings. And I was just like, I just thought there was like dumplings in the what get in the UK, and I was like, that's a bit weird, man. Like cheese dumplings, like I'm not sure about that. And I saw a picture of them, what they look like, and I was like, oh, they're like ravioli, basically, aren't they? That like big ravioli bites,
kind
of thing.
Yeah.
Like in a pasta type of thing. And yeah, they were really good. I didn't have them at Energylandia, but I did see signs for them, so it seems like they've got them in more places now, I think. But
That's
yeah,
good. It's just the fact that the place
I hate that. I
think-
hate it. One of my pet peeves of a theme park is when they close food early. Like,
Yeah.
you know, where like the park shuts at like 6, and then suddenly like you want something to eat, and then it's like everything shuts at 4.
I think literally on that last day it was a 6 p.m. close, and then
Yeah.
excuse me, that place just randomly closed at 3. I was just like, what kind of place in a park closes 3 hours before park close?
Yeah,
I was just
it's
like, what
weird.
the fuck?
But
I
I
was looking forward
think
to that as well.
it's. I mean, I was surprised because there's so many food places there that I was like, on a random off-peak day and everything is open. Like, how many times you go like to a theme park in the week and you don't see like shutters down on just like some of the, you know, like the quick serve places or the holes in the wall and stuff. So I don't know. Like, I was impressed at how much stuff was actually open when we were there. But
what I did have was good though. Like, there's good food there.
Yeah, and also like toilets everywhere. Like, I've never been to a park that has so many toilets. Like, you're walking along and you're just like, okay, I need to go to the toilet. Oh, there's literally one right there.
Yeah,
it's
no matter where you're at.
It's so useful when you're like when you're trying to like just get stuff in. You just quickly jump into a toilet.
Did you find it weird how? Did you find it weird how every attraction had a number on it? Had a number on the side.
Yeah, and I liked it.
Yeah.
We realized very early on, we was just like, okay, so the map, the number on the map relates to every restaurant, every ride, and I was just like, that is so useful. And that blew me and Joe away when because we was like going, okay, what? There's a number on that. What's the number mean? And we looked at the map and we was just like, oh my god, it's the number of it on the map. Like, yeah. I was like, that is pretty efficient. I love that.
It's a really cool. It's a really helpful thing. It just looks kind of weird, like in a themed.
It does look weird,
especially somewhere like Smoxy Grod, where you just see like a number on the side of.
It should at least be like a themed, like little number thing.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked it in a way.
A bit more.
Yeah, a little bit.
What else are people saying?
Albert saying hello, everyone. It's Bumba from Energylandia. He is. Yep. I've seen Clown on Twitter. Yeah. Just ignore the clown. It will go away. No, sorry, it's not from Energylandia. It's from Plopsaland. What am I saying? Yeah, it's from Plopsaland. The Bumba is annoying. So let's look through the comments then, right?
There was a whole conversation about Phantasialand going on in there.
Yes, we'll have to do like a Phantasialand special at some point, like this, I think.
Some people were saying some things about just how missable the front entrance is. Like, it literally looks like the side of a bus station or like the side of just some like old cinema or something like that.
For what is that?
The side of the park entrance to Phantasialand before you get before you get into it and into the Berlin section. You must have seen it.
Oh, Phantasialand. Yeah, sorry, man. My head's still in Energyland. Oh no, no. So yeah, we because obviously if you go by car, we drove there, so we went in like the back entrance. But yeah, like the actual front of the park literally looks like a bus station. It's so weird. Like, they need to sort that out, because that's like your first.
I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie, because it's just like, it's almost just like you're just walking into any undiscernible like entrance to anything, and then you get in there.
It's like going into
Europe's best parks, one of the world's best parks.
It's like going into like Diagon Alley. It's just like a back.
Yeah,
yeah. You just like
literally.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Actually, yeah, it is strange. Hikers. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot Hikers here. I'm sorry for talking about bad off Bumba. Sorry. So let's just go for the comments then, shall we?
Yeah, what else people are saying?
Any questions? Sorry, guys. Any questions about Energylandia? Just like throw them in, and we'll answer them now.
That's some dedication back from Ponar.
Yeah.
Are you in another room, Joe? Why is he?
Yeah. So Owen asked, is Western Camp an easy walk-in distance from the park? I'd say it's about the same distance walking from Western Camp to Energylandia's entrance than it is walking from Energylandia to Abyssus. Like you can see a Hyperion from Western Camp. It's about a 10-minute walk. It's really easy, but they have a land train that picks you up every half an
it does
hour
have that.
to and from, which really, well, I didn't even know about that. But yeah, it basically picks you up, takes you there. Takes about 3 minutes to drive there in this, and it's completely free if you're staying at Western Camp, and it's really, really, really useful. And it's just a cool way of getting to the park, to be honest, because it's like a proper, like, cool beastie train sort of thing. It's so cool. But my vlog will come out soon, so you'll see that.
You had mentioned about Western Camp that you can buy your tickets at the resort, and you can get them for cheaper as well.
Yeah, so we booked our
tickets. I didn't actually know this.
Yeah, I didn't know this until we was there. So we booked our tickets before we went, because we always do, because we're like, normally they're the cheapest if you get them online beforehand. But then, like, we'd heard about these fast tracks you get from Western Camp, and then so we asked at reception, and they didn't. They were like, "Oh, you want to buy tickets?" We was like, "No, we've got tickets," and they were just like, "Okay." So we didn't really know what was going on there. But then I found out later on that you can buy your tickets from reception at Western Camp, because Western Camp isn't owned by Energylandia. They've just got like a agreement, like they just like, it's not owned by them, but it's very much integrated into the whole resort sort of thing. Which I've got a tour of Western Camp coming up on Parkspill, so look out for that. I'll go through everything. It's really, really nice. Like, so impressed by that place. Honestly,
it's a nice resort.
So good.
And staying in a teepee is hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. I loved it. You don't even feel like you're camping, like, because it's got like heating in there and everything. It's so good.
Yeah, it's got actual beds in there as well.
Proper beds. But the so if you buy your tickets from the reception at Western Camp, they're about £3 to £5 cheaper. I've seen different things. And then also you get 3 fast passes per day, which you don't get queues that much at Energylandia. But what they are good for is like skipping the long queues, because even like the long walk,
long ass walks,
because even Hyperion you have to go up like upstairs to come back down again. Like it's a long ass walk. And then, like, if you get a fast pass with Hyperion, you literally walk through one corridor and you're at the gates, and that's it. And same with Zadra, it cuts out a significant portion of the queue. And if that wonder gate's open, if you walk for that short queue, you can just keep lapping it. It's worth it just for that, if you're getting it for free anyway. So yeah, that's my advice for that. It's definitely. For sure. What accommodation type did you stay in at Western Camp? We stayed in a teepee. We wanted to originally stay in one of the wagons because they look really cool. It's an old wagon. But actually, you get a lot more room in the teepees, and there's like a big table and chairs in the middle, which is like actually really, it was useful for me because I was doing a bit of work on the night time, so I could just go on there, and they've got plugs in there and everything. They've got a kettle and stuff. So
mate, you should have seen the fucking fire hazard we caused in our TP with the amount of just like extension cables and phone chargers and camera chargers, battery chargers, like all the devices in there. Lucky we didn't start a forest fire and shit. But I think the first night, like the zip on our like door didn't work, so like we had to have one guy like come out and basically just replace the entire door on our TV because it wouldn't close. Like we couldn't close it properly.
Joe said, "All right, do they still do fast pass on the big coasters for all guests?" I think it was one. What was the question, Joe, that Laura had asked? I can't actually see it. Like, I'm trying to look for it. Oh yeah, I had queues. How easy to get there, and how much can be done in a day with a number of rides? Okay, so I would say it's this one here. Our questions: how easy to get there? So, like I say, when you get to Krakow Airport, that's where we went to.
Same.
I'm not sure how. Did you get like public transport, or did you get a taxi? Carl?
I got a taxi from Krakow Airport over to an apartment in Zator for the first night.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until the next day that I met up with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
But like that took about 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Same.
That taxi ride, and it was cheap enough. So like
Yeah.
it
20,
was
20,
it was
it's
serviceable for me.
25 quid it cost us. So if you're
Yeah.
going there by yourself, 25 quid's still quite affordable. But if you went for like a few of you, like that would be really affordable. And then I would say Energylandia is not a day park unless you're happy to like just do like the big like 3 coasters, I guess. You're not going to get 17 creds in, I don't think, just because like it's so far away from all each other. You could do it
unless you literally want one ride on every coaster.
That's the problem. Like you want to get re-rides in, so I don't think you could do it. I think you could do it personally. If you went for it, you could probably do it. So if you picked a good day, because like we went on a busy day because there's a lot of school trips going on. But even then, like we weren't waiting more than 10 minutes for everything. But everyone was saying to us that was a busy day, so you could probably get stuff in quickly.
The thing is, like, it could be. Sorry. Go on.
I was gonna say, if you want to experience Energylandia, you've got to have at least 2 days there. I feel like you got to get a feel for that park, and really, you need to do 2 days. It's huge.
And dude, like the park tickets are so fucking cheap. Like 2 or 3 days.
And Western Camp in the TP, £60 a night. So if you just stay for one night, it's 60 quid plus like £25 for a ticket. You can get like 2-day tickets, which are like pretty affordable as well. So like it's in terms of theme parks, it's one of the most affordable ones for what you're getting. It's definitely worth doing 2 days.
And the thing with how like their perception of the park being busy, like because I found that it's because like the park is so big, so crowds naturally spread out very well there. But then also there's so much like all the kids coasters and all the family coasters, like they're there for a reason. Like the park, just like most other parks, the park's main target demographic is families, and all of those coasters soak up all of the families. That's why you don't see. That's why you don't see like Zadra and Hyperion with insanely long lines. Sometimes
it's like when we went to Toverland. Like Troy, like their gigantic GCI coaster, and Phoenix, which is their again gigantic winger coaster, was walk on all day to the point where they was just letting us lap it and change seats inside the station. But then you'd go to like the booster bikes, and that had like a half an hour queues. Like
it's the same with Plopsaland.
Literally same as Plopsaland. So because they're like very family kiddie parks, the big rides don't have that much. So it looks you go in there, you're like, oh, it looks busy, and then you go to actually the big rides, and they're not that busy at all. So yeah, it's just like the perfect. I mean, Energylandia, I mean, it's like the perfect enthusiast park in my opinion, because like especially if you want to just go get creds, like it's got every cred imaginable. Wacky worms, boomerangs. Like if you want to go get the creds, and it's fun, if you're going in, if you enjoy that sort of thing where like just getting creds is like fun to you, which is for me. We're not getting creds for the cred's sake. It's like it's just so good. So like for me, it's the perfect enthusiast park, and the fact that like I say, there's so many places to eat and drink, and it's cheap. It's just like it's such a good park for that sort of stuff. I was also going to say a weird thing I noticed was Light Explorer.
Yeah.
So that's called a keeper.
I'm trying to find something on our CDB. Go on.
That's called a keeper, Light Explorer. So I asked the woman in the shop, because we went into the shop that you come out of, and it's like the main Aqualantis shop, and all the stuff in there it's got like a keeper all over it, and they've got like they're selling like these like designer shoes and stuff. So I was just like, what is a keeper? And she told me that it's these really big Polish YouTubers. That like they're huge in Poland. Basically, they're like it almost seems like they're like the sidemen of like Poland sort of thing. Like they're massive, and they've got a ride named after him, which is mental.
Yeah.
So you'll see like a lot of stuff for a keeper, and they sell all their like merch in the store and stuff.
They sponsor the rides, don't they?
Yeah, that's why it's called a keeper.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a keeper,
and that's why like stuff with their logo on it
it's a lot more expensive.
It's a lot more expensive than
because it's like a clothing brand as well. It's
Yeah.
like they have their own clothing brand and all this sort of stuff. And if you go into the queue of Light Explorers, it's got like all the guys from that like YouTube channel, their faces on the wall. It's really, when I found that out, I was like, oh mate, it explains so much. But yeah, so they sponsor this YouTube channel, sponsor a ride, so it's really really odd, but
it's
pretty cool.
It's interesting.
It's
Did you what I was looking for on RCDB, circus coaster, the little powered coaster that's like it's literally like the layout is basically a bean. I cannot remember the ride up's name that everybody loves. Like,
we didn't get him. We got this.
Did you not?
We got this. I was looking out for this guy. I can't remember his name. I didn't know it when I was there because I was looking out and I was like, oh, it's just this girl who did it, and we didn't get any of that energy, unfortunately. I was looking forward to doing that. It was funny just doing that. It was just me and Joe on that. Literally just walked straight up.
Really?
And Draken as well is just hilarious because we was the only people on that as well. And it's just like that's just insane.
Oh yeah.
You're doing this like little coaster. Actually, the lift hill is quite big actually. But like when you're going around it, you're just doing it and you just got Zadra towering above you, like next to you. It's just such a weird like
I remember me and Sloan were on that, and like just to get the credit, we just hopped off and we were just like, all right, can we go ride Zadra now, please?
Literally. And then like Frida, that's right next to it. It's like Frida, that's like just like part of that area as well. Such a weird coaster that is.
Yeah, it looks so randomly placed.
It's so random. It's so randomly placed, and it doesn't really do anything. I mean, I know it's a kid's thing, but it's like that
a little junior coaster in it,
but that is the definition of just plonking down the ride to get the numbers. That one is. There was not many coasters I rode that I thought like that about. Before I went there, I did have this preconceived notion of just like, oh, they're just adding coasters to get the count up. But I'd say Frida is the only coaster there, I think, that I felt like that. I was like, this is just here for the sake of it, isn't it? Like this.
I do still think there is a partial element of that.
There is
just like
100%.
I think they're very cognizant of them of the potential of them having the largest number of coasters of any part in the world.
But
I think they're aware of it.
They do that, but I think they do it well. Like for example, like I thought Light Explorers, it's like a shuttle coaster, but like it worked well in that area. How it's just kind of like one kind of straight line goes through all the elements, and it works
just
quite
bobbing
well.
up and down above the water. I really liked Light.
I thought that was such a good. Like little junior coaster. Draken, I just thought it was cool that they had this little kiddie area because like I like it when parks do this where they open a new ride like a major coaster and then they put in a couple of kids rides rather than what a lot of parks do, which is like we'll have the kids section just in the corner away from everyone else. Like, if you just add like a kiddie cred or like a kiddie ride with all the big stuff, families can go around together and then they can like people can go and do whatever rather than like one half the family are just away for one day and the other half are over here. Like I think that's really good. So I thought that's what they did really well, to be fair. But
Claire set that up on I've forgotten the name of the coaster already. Circus coaster. Yeah, she said
11 times.
Said it around 11 times. Like we got a few. we got a few.
Yeah. Matt
It was
said,
great though.
is merch good other than the branded stuff? Will I get a good mug? Mate, their merch is really good.
They do
I
have some.
thought,
They do have some good merch.
yeah.
Like they have a lot of good merch.
The only thing I thought they were missing was there wasn't for me, there wasn't a decent Zadra hoodie. There's no Zadra hoodie. And I really wanted a Zadra hoodie. I got I ended up picking up, the Coastaholic stuff they do with all the blueprints of every coast on the back.
Yeah. I got one
thought
of those t-shirts.
that was really good. Joe got a hoodie of that. That's
Mm.
Energylandia, but I thought they could have had more Zadra merch to wear.
There
Sort of
was
thing. They had like
one.
a t-shirt, but I
Yeah.
wasn't a fan of the t-shirt.
There was one t-shirt that I really wanted. That had like the Zadra logo and the dragon, and then like wooden track on it, which is hilarious.
That's why I didn't like it, because it was wooden track. I was like, that is
I was going back and forth over whether I wanted it or not. I ultimately decided not to get it, and then just almost immediately after coming home, was just like, I should have got that shirt. I should have got that shirt. It's still a really nice shirt to me, but like, yeah, it's a bit weird that it has.
It's weird that it's just a wooden coaster on it. And I'm like that.
Yeah,
like Zadra. It's weird, but like the Energylandia branded stuff is really good. They do this really nice, like really clean black mug that's got like spot UV on it of all like the skyline of all the coasters are going around it. And like the coordinates of where Energylandia is, that was like really nice, and they've got quite a big selection of that sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, if I was going to get a mug, I'd probably get that. Like, I kind of wish I did get it, to be honest, but it's very different to all the other branding. But they've got so much stuff there. They got like joggers, leggings,
they've got loads of stuff.
It's just like. But the one thing we noticed was they've got like 2 main shops at the front of the park, but they don't stock everything there. It's not like when you go to most parks where you see like the individual shops around the park, and then you can go to a big mega shop and then you can get pretty much anything there. You can't like there's certain like colors of like hoodies that you can only get from certain parts, which I found really interesting. So that's just something to look out. I think if you see something you like, just get it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might not get it, especially if you're only there for like a day or something. So
all the stuff that doesn't have some kind of sponsorship on it is pretty damn cheap. Like Matt was saying, is it all cheap as everything else too? Yeah, like all the majority of the merch is really affordable.
I think the clothing's about standard. I think I paid 30 quid for my hoodie, and I thought, okay, that's not as cheap as like the beer and the food, for example, and everything else, but it's still like reasonable because it's really.
I can't remember how much my t-shirt was.
I think Joe's hoodie she got was 35 quid, but it's like really thick hoodie, and it's like when a hoodie is like really soft on the inside.
Yeah, those hoodies were thick.
Yeah, really good. Sure. Oh yeah, so yeah. Joe said the goodie. The goodie was about
the goodie.
So yeah,
the goodie bags.
Oh yeah, so many magnets. I was in heaven. We got really good magnets from them. But yeah, we got like we got like a Zadra magnet that's like wooden, and then also a like an Energylandia one that looks like a number plate. It was really cool actually. Yeah, that's good. So okay, right. I think we're done, man.
Yeah, I think that'll call it. We've been going for 2.5 hours.
And it, mate, like I'm so tired. Like I say, fucking 3 a.m. got up. No, yeah, I'm knackered.
I didn't realize you'd gotten back so late, because I remember you saying that like when you got back on Wednesday you'd have a bit of chill.
Yeah, because because Joe organises the trips, and I got it all mixed up because we go to basically we go to Heidi Park and Hansa Park in like a week's time. And like that's like the opposite way around, where we have like a really early flight there, but when we come back it's kind of like it's a bit earlier, so we do get back about 11. I just got the dates mixed up. But yeah, so we got back at 3 a.m. but it was worth it because, like I say, it cost us £15 each to get to and from Poland. So mate, it's cheap as anything. So yeah, cool. So Craig said, "Nice one on deck. Thanks, bro."
For a while, it was just deck.
Owen said they have a lot of magnets. No wonder they attract so many enthusiasts.
And on that note, night everyone.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good, man. Energylandia. I also saw Craig said earlier. Is do I think that Zadra is worth the hype? 100%. Like
1000%.
And anyone who's saying otherwise is a hater.
it is literally my favorite roller coaster in Europe.
Yeah, like, and you've done a decent amount. You've done a decent amount of RMCs as well, which
yeah, it's solidly my favorite RMC.
You've done Sylvengeance.
Mm-hmm. So I've done a few, and I said this the other day, which is funny considering I'm moving. Like the amount of people just getting out into Europe and getting out into mainland Europe's, like major parks and getting on like the world class, like the new world class coasters that we have like in mainland Europe. I just think it's super cool. Like the amount of, like sort of like mini trip updates on Twitter and stuff, and seeing it like Plopsaland riding Rides of Happiness, riding Tiger, Zadra, Conda, like Taran, Fly, like all of these. It's so cool to see, and like everyone needs to go out and ride Zadra. And I was like saying the same. I was saying the exact same thing when I came off it. Like instantly, I was just like, everyone needs to come out here and ride this ride.
Honestly, the fact that it's like we've spent more money at our weekend in Blackpool than we have like getting out to Energylandia. We probably spent a little bit. We probably splashed out a little bit more when we was there. Saying that though, I think it feels like we did, but we didn't, because we didn't. Everything's so cheap. Like I keep saying, like when we was at Western Camp, the restaurant there, like we got like a huge pizza and it's like £3.50 for a massive pizza. And like the dessert we had, which is like a proper fancy like restaurant there as well. Like it was like £2.
Yeah, that restaurant's really nice.
It's so good. It's so good. But say it feels like we splashed out, but we probably actually didn't. Like I think we probably didn't spend £200 between us.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant.
Really, really good.
Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll be back next week at our usual time of Wednesday at 8 p.m. Thanks for bearing with us. Hopefully, James and Luke will be feeling better by then, and we'll welcome them back. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Touch wood. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.